Gaming news today is all about how the tables have turned. First, Hellblade 2 is headed to PS5, and it will be PS5 Pro Enhanced. But fear not, Xbox fans. The Xbox version and PC version is getting a free update, and I wonder if it has anything to do with 60 FPS. Also, this sparked new insiders talking about Starfield coming to PlayStation as well. But when, and honestly why at this point, why would anybody care, is kind of the question that I have. Second, Liza P is promoting their DLC, and they're making a controversial decision that is going to hit the game with the DLC this summer. Will it be received well by the Souls-like community or not? Third, PlayStation is apparently not planning on being part of the Summer Game Fest Showcase season, not even with a state of play. Why would they decide to be quiet right now? We will discuss that. They're also not that popular right now as they are ending the PlayStation Stars customer incentive program that they were running. I don't know why they're ending yet another one of these programs. We'll look at the details of that as well. And as always, I do have a game for your wish list and your radar right at the end. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you're hitting that like button. Even if you're watching this later, that helps me out. It helps more people find the video. Make sure you're subscribed and here all the time. Now, I do this full time, and the way I do that is through direct support from you. So if you're watching on YouTube, consider clicking join. Make sure you pick Member Plus. That's how you get into all the extra content. Twitch, if you sub to me with your Prime or a regular Twitch sub, you will never see an ad on Twitch. There's two ways to support me now, either on YouTube or Twitch, or some of you do it on both, and you're the absolute best for that. So let's get into this one because there is a lot to discuss. And the first one is going to be about Hellblade. Well, this isn't really a surprise, and it may come as one, though. Hellblade 2 is headed to PS5, and this only prompted really two big questions from me. Will this be PS5 Pro Enhanced, and will it be 60 FPS? It was one of the many Xbox first-party games that shipped at 30 FPS, despite being promised that the Series X base output would be 60, and it pushed me to play another game from Xbox on my PC. But fear not, Xbox fans, you are getting something out of this. Ninja Theory tweeted and said that Hellblade 2 is coming to PS5 with some exciting new features, and that those new features would also be coming to Series X, S, and PC. Will these new features include a performance mode for the Series X or the base PS5? And will it include anything for the Pro? The official listing for Hellblade 2 on the PS5 does show that it will be PS5 Pro Enhanced. I do anticipate that being some sort of a mode to offer 60 FPS. We're going to have to wait and see. What do you think? Are you going to be checking the game out on PS5? I will not be. I found it to be a huge step back from the first game, which is one of my all-time favorite games. I was incredibly disappointed with how Hellblade 2 shaped out. So let me know in the comments below, or you can come discuss it in a live stream. The other thing that happened in the wake of this is insiders started talking about, you guessed it, Starfield. Yes, here we go again. We are hearing that Starfield is headed to PS5, and at this point, I'm going to be honest, I just don't care. The game is in such a bad state with respect to public reception, with a user score of 58% on Steam and a 68% on Xbox. I just don't see this really mattering all that much unless they bring the game into a 2.0 status. But notable and reliable insider Nate the Hate says that it is indeed coming. He also said the intent is to announce it this year. But after the game's poor reception with the public and the disastrous DLC, I'm not really sure how much of a success this will be. There are a lot of Bethesda fans on PlayStation, to be sure, but a lot of time has passed. The hype and the interest has gone down, and a lot of gamers are well aware at how bad the game actually is. But maybe I'm completely off the mark here. I don't know. In my mind, 2025 has been so full of great games and such high levels of excellence. Starfield will need more than just a port and an announcement to do well, in my opinion. Let me know in the comments below what you think, though, about this, or you can come and discuss it in a live stream. The other thing that's going on that's seemingly not getting the best response is about Lies of P. You might think I'm joking about this, but I'm not. Liza P has officially announced that the game will be getting difficulty settings, which is obviously a contentious subject with a lot of disagreement. The studio said this is to attract more players to the game, but they also noted that the game is always difficult. Currently, no details are known, but I bet this is going to be sort of similar to the difficulty settings in First Berserker Kazan. The game is still difficult on easy mode because you have to have your blocks and your parries and dodges on time. It just gives you more survivability. Your health lasts longer, your stamina lasts longer, and you output more damage. I would imagine Liza P would probably do something similar, given that they can't go and retweak every single fight. They can only actually sort of help the player survive longer or more. What do you think about this? Is this a good decision? Does this change your opinion on the game? And will you be trying it out? Let me know in the comments below, or come discuss it in a live stream. And speaking of strange decisions that are not getting, popular reception, the next one is about PlayStation. Well, it's that time of the year again where we all try and we all fail to predict what PlayStation will be doing in the summer showcase season. 2 years ago, they did a showcase, and that was after a 2-year break of not doing a showcase. Most of the other years, though, they have simply done a state of play to kick off the Summer Game Fest week. They usually land right at the end of May or right when June starts. Well, according to a reliable insider about PlayStation events, PlayStation will not be doing anything until September, completely skipping the summer. Now, earlier this year, we had multiple sources claiming that PlayStation was planning on an event, and they were leaning toward it being a showcase. Now, I could totally see needing more time to plan and organize a big showcase and wanting that to land in September because that's right before Yote launches, and that also is a great time for them to really forecast what's coming in 2026. And they've got big titles for 2026 with Intergalactic, Saros, potentially Wolverine, and Phantom Blade Zero. But skipping the summer just doesn't make any sense to me. They've got Lost Soul Aside, Death Stranding 2, and Ghosts of Yote that would all be shipping after the event. So I don't know why you wouldn't do a summer state of play, especially since those 3 games were absent from the February state of play that they have already done. It seems like a missed opportunity and more strange marketing behavior from Sony. What do you think about this? Am I off? Do you think Sony's doing the right thing? Is it strange for them to skip the summer? Again, I think we are probably getting a pretty big event in September, but that doesn't mean you should just completely go silent during the summer. Let me know in the comments below what you think, or you can come discuss it in a live stream. Also, on the subject of PlayStation being disappointing, they have opted to discontinue their PlayStation Stars incentive. They didn't really say much other than that they're looking into new things that they could possibly do. I was using this fairly regularly to just get gift cards. I'm not really sure why companies do this, why they give you basically points, and then over time you can use those points to get gift cards. To me, it's like, why wouldn't you just give us periodic discounts after so many purchased games or something? Make it a little bit more simplistic. But this, again, is another time where PlayStation is just deciding to end a player incentive thing that they started. It doesn't even seem like it was started all that long ago. So I'm completely in the dark here as to why they're doing it. I don't approve of it. I think it's kind of stupid. I would just stop doing them then. If you're just going to do them and then cancel them, just save everybody the trouble and don't do them anymore. Just do your PS Plus. Do your games there, do your sales for PS Plus people, do your trials for PS Plus Premium, and just stop. Just put an end to the entire thing. I don't get it at all. So I enjoyed using it to get gift cards. I enjoyed using it to kind of have my wallet full of money anytime I would go to purchase a game. That loyalty incentive and kind of a program I think is nice. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Is this upsetting to you? Were you using it a lot? Were you not using it a lot? Let me know, or you can come discuss it in a live stream. Okay, so the last thing I like to do is I always like to put a game on your wish list or your radar, and this one got put on my radar just yesterday. They sent me an email. This game is called Somber Echoes, and it is a Metroidvania with a very cool art style, and it's got a very snappy, very quick sort of play style as well. A lot of different things that you can do. And I love the sense of scope and lighting in these boss fights. There's a lot of depth and a lot of detail. I think this is a really good-looking game. It's actually been on Steam since January of this year. It has an 87%, so if you want to get this game, it's already on Steam, but it's coming to Xbox and PlayStation on July the 8th, so just around the corner. Thought I would put that one on your radar because it is only $25 on Steam. I think it looks solid. I'm going to be adding this to my wish list and the ever-growing backlog of games that I'll probably never get to. So that's the show open. That's the news. Now it's time for the discussion. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And I have bad news for the people on Twitch. It's going to be another rough day for you guys in the realm of the competition. I do need to give credit to Twilight for gifting a sub to Visual Walkthrough. You don't see ads on Twitch when you have a sub, and Visual Walkthrough was like, why am I seeing ads? He's like, oh, my sub ran out, and Twilight immediately took care of them. That's the kind of culture and that's the kind of community that we have here. And then Keithius resubscribed with their Prime for 2 months. So credit where credit is due. Okay, you guys did great. I do owe you 5 subs over there on Twitch, because whoever hits it gets it. Whoever hits the milestone gets it. And then I do need to go here and add your total here. But I saw out of the corner of my eye, we've already got some insanity brewing over there on Twitch. Han shot first, and so did you. Joker Quinn with the first gifted member of the day. He gets us to 85. But then a 50 bomb comes in from MASH, and a 20 bomb right on his heels from Pathalon Phoenix. That is 70 members just like that, taking us to a grand total already of 555. And you guys can start working on stretch. You're already pretty much halfway there to stretch. The stretch goal is going to be to get my wife and I to play Linked Banner of the Spark on Friday night. I'll set up dual monitors. I'll set up dual perspective. You guys like when we do that. We will do that. There's another stretch goal incentive as well. You guys have been kind of interested in the music that I've been working on, maybe even a lyric that I posted on Twitter, because Bungie's getting cracked wide open, and it's good to see their corruption exposed and their covering up of misconduct exposed. I may let you hear those lyrics. So that'll be for the 700 stretch. You guys are absolutely insane. It's only Thursday, and you guys are going absolutely bonkers. And then a Member Plus renewal comes in from Amskin and gets us to 556. So I have to add, what would that be? That would be 71, 72. So that would take this to 74. Try as you might, Twitch. You might be able to come swinging back today. I don't know. You're competing with MASH and Pathalon Phoenix. Like, that is the tag team duo of the century right here. They've just been so incredibly generous lately. I truly don't know what to say. I greatly appreciate it. But again, whoever hits it gets it. So right now, I owe Twitch 15. I'm sorry. No, I owe YouTube 15 and Twitch, I owe you 5. And thank you, J-Dub, for 2 months on Twitch, which I could have been, had Twitch back in the day. I got years on YouTube. Well, I appreciate the support either way. So thank you so much. No matter where you watch or support me, it means the world to me that I'm able to do this full time, and that we're kind of getting back what was lost. And then more and more, we are seeing those who went after me in 2020, you're seeing what they really are. And I hope that really starts to maybe change in people's minds out there. I'm not trying to stroke your ego, says Sideshow, but it's very impressive how knowledgeable on all the gaming topics you are. Very much enjoy watching and listening. Well, thank you. I do a lot of research so that I can speak with, knowledge and familiarity with the topic. So when I go through that show open, that's a couple hours of work every night to make sure that I don't miss anything, so... week 1 was cheating, week 2 was stealing, week 3's covering up. What a refreshing month. People are really showing you who they really truly are, and I think over the last 5 years I've shown who I am, and I think that it's clear. I hope that that's clear to folks, and people are coming back around and supporting. My DMs and my email are open as well, so if anybody wants to reach out, they can. And a 5 bomb comes in from Joker Quinn. Thank you so much. That bumps YouTube to 79 on the day. You guys are absolutely insane. I truly don't know what to say. And the interest in my music and stuff too has been really, really fun. I'm excited to be sharing that with you. And soon we'll have some official releases. Pouring Rain with 40 months of memberships over here on Twitch. Thank you so much. What do you guys want to talk about? I mean, there was a lot to talk about. I mean, Hellblade coming to PS5, Starfield probably coming to PS5 according to insiders. PlayStation not doing a showcase, not doing a summer state of play, and then not, I guess, doing a showcase in September. I don't know what they're doing anymore. They're impossible to predict. And a 10 bomb comes in from Risick, and he says, let's get a little bit closer. Whoever hits it gets it. You guys are officially 2 away. You are officially 2 away from the next milestone. Right now, I owe YouTube 15, and I owe Twitch 5. Twitch, this is an easy time to steal. 2 is all you need to steal this to get to the 575. membership would give you points for buying it. The problem with PS All-Stars is that the service was down for a while. Plus, people were using it to get PS Plus, which gave points. So they created a cycle of get points, use it to get PS Plus. The PS Plus membership would then give you points for buying it. Yeah, I mean, I liked it, and Rissik's going to take it. Sorry, boys. Risik drops the 5-bomb and says, it's ours. He says it is ours, and he bumps it to 578. And then that's going to bump us over here to 94. Man, oh man, what a day. What a week. I owe YouTube 20 already. I owe Twitch. I tell you what, I'm going to give you your 5 now. I'm going to give you your 5 now. You guys are having a tough start to the day again, and I'm going to give you my 5 first, all right? I was only using PlayStation Stars to get gift cards, but like that, I thought that was nice. I thought that was a nice customer loyalty program. I don't know what PlayStation's doing. To me, again, just stop doing them then. If you're just going to end up canceling the programs, then just don't do them to begin with. Like, it's probably better to just not really get anybody's attention and not be like, hey, we're running this really cool incentive program, and then you end up just killing it later anyway. So let me make sure, I'm going to give Creature the video from today. I'm trying to get into a better routine here. Trying to get into a better routine. Hang on. I need view by details, and then I need to sort by date. So today, 6 minutes, show, let's see, show open. Today's date is the 22nd. There we go. Throw this into one of the benefits now of having fiber is I can upload videos to him while I'm streaming, and it doesn't ruin the stream for you guys. So we are also repurposing the show open for shorts. So if you guys see those videos, if you see those shorts in your feed, give them a like, give them a comment, give them some engagement. I appreciate it so much, everybody that's doing that. Also, if you see a poll in your feed, we already have over 1,000 votes on my poll about Destiny 3. So thank you, everybody who took that poll. If you watch my video, Destiny 3 will make you God. That one hit yesterday. Appreciate it so much. And a 10-bomb comes in from MASH, and he says, I'm not done. You know, this guy takes a couple weeks off, so he's back with a vengeance. He was gone the last couple of weeks, and you guys carried the banner and the torch well without MASH. Thank you, MASH, for everything that you do for this community and for me. It is so greatly appreciated. PlayStation didn't market it right. PlayStation Star, I like the pins I was getting. If you want to do little chintzy things like little banners and little avatars and stuff, fine. But you were giving people a way to make money. And I knew it was trouble when a while ago we went in to use our points and all the gift cards had disappeared. And I was like, yeah, the jig is up. They're going to shut this down because they didn't want people using it that way, I guess. Then just don't do it. It's adorable. You finally got an internet from 2010. That's right. See my previous question. Rewards credit cards win because they get you to the spender to shift your purchases to their card. How does rewards help PlayStation? What's the ROI? I don't know. And Sear Stone Spire is trying to bait a 10-bomb. He bumps the line to 590 with 2 singles. You're the absolute best. Cool Spoon's going to bump it again. Got my second month here. Cool Spoon, thank you so much for supporting me in both places. I appreciate it very, very much. Did I add... I don't think I added... No, I didn't add MASH's 10-bomb and then those 2 singles. So that's 106. That's 106 there. And then Zealot's going to make it 107. And then Twitch is going to be 23. I'm trying to keep track of all of it, guys. It's pretty difficult. And then the member count's going to go to 592. Thank you so much. Whoever hits it gets it. It's anybody's grab at this point. We're within 8. Good to see you, Kirk. Kirk says... Hellblade 2 being called Enhanced Edition would imply better performance across the board, right? I've only seen people talk about 60 FPS on the Pro. Enhanced would make sense to me. I actually think, Kirk, and I speculated this morning, I said that it's probably going to be 60 FPS on the base PS5 and on the base on the Series X. I'm sorry. I think they're going to do it. I think they're going to give both because They said that the Series X and the S and PC are all getting the new features. I think one of those features is going to be a performance mode. I don't know about Series S, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if Series X and the base PS5 get performance modes. It's probably going to run the best on the Pro or a high-end rig. Like, really, people with high-end rigs have already shown off how pretty the game is. And another single comes in from Jorge, and another single comes in from Zealot. You guys are really capturing the vision of this. I love this. This is so fun. $5.94 on the day. I know what you guys are trying to do. You guys are, it's so clever. Listen, Mash and Pathalon and Rissick and guys like that, they're dropping the big bombs. Guys like Alex and Cardoc Ren are also dropping bombs on Twitch. Those single gifteds add up, man, and you guys doing that, those little nudges to bait people. It's so smart. I greatly appreciate, Stone Spire does it, DK Bager does it, Joker Quinn does it, now Zealot and Jorge are doing it. Don't think that a single gifted doesn't count for something, because it does. You guys don't have to be these monsters in the room. You're all contributing to the same thing. You're helping the community grow. Stone Spire's dropped like 1,000 gifted one at a time. Yeah, all the singles. Oh yeah. Xbox has the best rewards program. Xbox's reward program is pretty cool. Every time I turn on my Xbox, they're telling me that I got another gift card. I don't know if I have to do anything to get it. I just get those messages all the time. I missed the beginning of the show. Is the PlayStation Showcase coming in May? No, it is not. According to, well, I can't say definitively. According to sources, PlayStation is planning something big for September. I think that's probably a showcase. I think it makes sense to do a showcase there instead of the summer, because they'll be able to focus on Yote and then also shift focus to everything that they're going to do in 2026. Things like Saros, Phantom Blade Zero, Intergalactic, maybe Wolverine. I don't get them not doing anything in the summer. That seems stupid to me. PlayStation's marketing has been notoriously irritating to me. I can never predict what they're doing. I never have a clue what their goals are, or why they're quiet, or why they do this, that, or the third. They did a February State of Play. They made no mention of Yote, no mention of Death Stranding 2. I don't think they did anything with Lost Soul aside either. I might be incorrect on that one, but I think all three games were absent. It doesn't make any sense. Those are your three first-party games, and they're not going to get any fanfare? You're not going to do anything? It doesn't add up. Unless they're handing everything to Keighley. I could see Kojima doing something with Keighley. I could. Geezer, thank you so much for 9 months of memberships, and there it is. A 5-bomb away. We are a 5-bomb away from 600. Who is going to take it? Whoever hits it gets it. I currently owe YouTube 20. It's anybody's for the taking. Twitch, this is the one time you can win. When you get this far behind, you can always take advantage of the gifteds, though. You can slam a 5-bomb home before YouTube, and you can. Then I owe you instead. You can steal it. Nintendo coming for PlayStation. W what? Are you saying it's a W? It's a win? What's a win? And a 5-bomb comes in from Mike on a mic over here on YouTube. YouTube once again saying it is ours for the taking. Unbelievable. New CEO, new plan. There are people speculating that. They're speculating that, like, it's a new plan now. I liked doing State of Play at the beginning of the year, State of Play in the summer, and then do a showcase at the end. I think that's a great rhythm. I don't know why you would skip the summer. It doesn't make any sense. I get not doing a showcase in the summer. That makes sense to me. Doing a showcase in September seems logical given the rhythm and given the year and the structure. Skipping the summer doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. A 20 to 30 minute State of Play it doesn't seem like that big of a deal for them to put together. And Super Googly with the Super Chat says, do you think Death Stranding 2 or Yote could touch Expedition 33? I think the only game that has a prayer of winning Game of the Year over Expedition 33 is Death Stranding 2. That's the only one. I don't think Yote has a prayer of winning Game of the Year. It could get nominated, but it isn't going to beat Expedition 33. Expedition 33 is Baldur's Gate. You know what I mean? I'm sorry to inform you that your gifting fund for the month went to the local Humane Society because they suddenly got like 40 kittens in and they're needing money. Kittens over man with kitten bladder. That's fine, Zubair. Oh, by the way, this is now the new stretch goal. Okay, so Madam and I will play Linked Banner of the Spark for you guys on Friday night. I'll set up the dual monitors. I'll set up the dual perspectives. Now for 700, I'll let you guys hear more of my music on Friday night. That's the new stretch because I'm hesitant to do it, but you guys have been cool and supportive and interested. So that's the new stretch goal. I'll let you hear some more. I've been working like feverishly. I've got so many new songs. I've gone back and redone some that you haven't heard yet. So thank you again. If you guys are watching on YouTube, smash that like button. Try to get us to 200 likes before we've been live for 30 minutes. I appreciate it very, very much. How many hours of Expedition 33 have you played, assuming that you didn't have a ton of time between AC Shadows and Blueprints? Well, I wanted to beat AC Shadows before Doom came out. I bailed on AC Shadows. I couldn't do it anymore. I got close to 50 hours, and I'm like, I can't do this. And so I am now, I don't know how far I am in Doom, but I'm loving Doom. And then Expedition 33, I think I got like 3 hours in or whatever. I'm saving it. I'm basically saving it. I'm going to play it. I think what I want to do, I don't know if I'm going to have time for this. I would really like to finish Doom before we get into June, and then use June to beat Expedition 33 before Death Stranding 2 comes out. I want to be able to compare the two. I'm looking at the culture, the review process, the jury, the way that the gaming community and the gaming world is talking about Expedition 33. I don't have to play it to know it's going to win Game of the Year. I did the same thing with Baldur's Gate 3. It's like, I didn't play Baldur's Gate 3, but I knew it was going to win Game of the Year. It wasn't hard to see. It was like, everybody loves it. People are talking about it as if it is a disruptive, like transformative game, and Expedition 33 is getting similar treatment in similar discussions. So I don't think anybody else has a prayer except for Kojima. Kojima's the only one that could hit the ball that far out of the park. Nobody else can. I don't think there's a ceiling on how great Yote can be. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. There's a ceiling. I love Tsushima, but the sequel to Ghost of Tsushima has a ceiling on it. I don't think that ceiling reaches beyond what Expedition 33 achieved. If you played more, I don't think Death Stranding 2 will be your Game of the Year pick, but I'll be curious where your mind is. I don't think I'll like one of them more than the other. I think I'll like them within their respective efforts. I think Death Stranding 2 has a shot, but I still think it's going to end up going Expedition 33. If I was a betting man and you were like, put money on the table right now, Lono, I'd be like, oh no, yeah, it's Expedition 33 is going to get it. Like, even Kojima's going to have a hard time beating that game. Yeah, if you made me bet right now, I would back Expedition 33. I would. Tsushima got like 80. Tsushima's score went up when the director's cut came out. It has like an 87 for the director's cut. I'm not sure why. I thought you were saying it would be Death Stranding. Before Expedition 33 released, I said that Expedition 33 was a Game of the Year contender, and that it seemed like it was Death Stranding 2's year. I thought Death Stranding 2 will be the strongest title, especially once GTA 6 left the frame. It was like, oh yeah, it's Kojima's year. Then Expedition 33 came out, and I said, I don't know if anybody can beat this game. The discourse has risen into the upper levels of like a Baldur's Gate 3. I don't see how anybody could hope to beat it. The only person who has a shot is Kojima, but even then, I wouldn't put money behind him. If you made me bet, I would back Expedition. Yeah, it's not just been in the discourse cycle for long. Players, the numbers are stupid. Like, let's see. Expedition 33. The Steam chart numbers are dumb. They're absolutely dumb. They're still getting like 70,000 player peaks. Like, the game has been out for how long? And just last week, they were still getting into the hundreds, 100,000s. 3 days ago, they had 105,000 people playing at the same time. A single-player turn-based RPG from a tiny studio, touching 100 and something thousand. Can't forget Crimson Desert is coming. I don't think Crimson Desert's going to touch Expedition 33. I don't think so. You keep referring to YouTube as Twitch. Do I keep saying the wrong things? That's not surprising. Sorry. There's a little bit more than 6 months before the Game Awards. We're coming out either Death Stranding 2 that has a chance against... Oh, what's coming out, you're asking? I don't think anything. Are you going back to Blades of Fire? I will probably play Blades of Fire before I play First Berserker. Yeah. I don't know how I'm ever going to get through this backlog, but Yeah, I think I'm going to play that one before First Berserker. I think I liked it more. Are there any dark horses being released this year that could surprise us like 33? I don't... Hell Is Us, maybe? From the trailers, I always knew that Expedition 33 was going to surprise people and like kind of come out of nowhere. Yeah, Hell Is Us, maybe. I don't know. Silk Song, even then, I just don't know if a game like that could beat. Expedition 33 is getting praised for every corner of it. The writing, the voice acting, the art style, the action, the gameplay, the story, the soundtrack. It's like it doesn't make a wrong move in people's minds. Now, yes, there was lip syncing issues and there's some weird things in cutscenes with like lighting and artifacting and stuff. But like it's like they don't in the mind of the public and the mind of the reviewing people and the people that have been talking about it, like, you know, it's stupid. Its soundtrack is so stupidly good. It like trended. Like, I don't know what to say. It's like it can't make a wrong move in people's minds. They're overlooking things for sure. I think people are overlooking things, but that's a testimony to just how good the game is. Don't forget Nintendo. Mario Kart doesn't have a shot. Donkey Kong doesn't have a shot. Those games won't be up for Game of the Year. Family game, sure. Hades 2, no shot. Ain't beating Expedition 33. I don't think anything. I'm serious. I don't think anything can. It does not take 500 people to make a great game, says Jake. It takes passion. For sure. For sure. I don't know, dude. I'm here to tell you. I can't think of any sleepers other than like Hell Is Us and Silk Song. But even then, I don't think either of those games from what I've seen can hit the heights that we're seeing. It's winning every award it's nominated. I predicted, Kirk, it'll have 7 to 8 nominations, and it's going to walk away with 5 to 7 of those. It's easily walking home with 5 to 7 trophies. It's going to have 7 or 8 noms. You know? I don't know what to say. It's in a Baldur's Gate 3 level category. It's just... But... This comes back to the PlayStation Showcase. You have Death Stranding 2 in your corner. That's another reason why I don't understand why PlayStation's not going to do, at the very least, a state of play in the summer. The only reason I could see them deciding not to is maybe Kojima said, listen, I really want to do something with Keighley for his kickoff event, and PlayStation said, that's fine. His event, you know, does well and gets good viewership. We're okay with that. There's the 20 members that I owe you guys over here on YouTube. I probably owe you more than that. I don't even know. I think I owe you 30. I'll do another 10 in a second. Summer Game Fest. According to people that are really reliable with like PlayStation events, they're not doing anything until September, which means they would be skipping Summer Game Fest, which would be very abnormal for them. They have consistently done a kickoff. DeWitt, thank you for 15 months on Twitch. There it is. The Agents of Chaos. We were just hanging out. Perfectly on 600. And Agent of Chaos finally strolls in the room. Appreciate you. DeWitt. 15 months is a long time. Thanks for using your Prime. Guys, I am back on Twitch. If you're paying for Amazon Prime, you can use your Twitch Prime on my Twitch channel every month. It will not auto-renew. You got to do it every month, and it supports me directly. And it doesn't cost you a thing. If you're already paying for Amazon Prime, that's just something you get to do. What else do they have in the chamber besides Death Stranding and Yote? They have Lost Soul Aside. So they have 3 games that haven't come out yet, and they were not included in the last State of Play. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know why you wouldn't do a State of Play. I don't get it. Truly don't. Even even if you come out with a 20 to 30 minute State of Play, you have some third party, you want to keep flexing that, right? You're the leader right now. You're the king. Flex that third party, be like, here's some third party games. Everybody then thinks of you and those games, right? All these people that bought PlayStations are like, hey, this is the other reason I think it's important. They keep talking about how the PlayStation 5 has sold so well. They are internally very impressed that the PS5 is keeping pace with the PS4 without doing a mid-gen discount. The PlayStation 4 got to do a mid-gen discount. The PS5 has not gotten to do a mid-gen discount, and they're still keeping pace. And they keep talking about how many new users they've got. They have a ton of new people to the PlayStation 5 ecosystem. Okay, well then why would you not show up at showcase season with something? It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, Siri, people have said that. They're like, well, Xbox is going to walk out. And Xbox is going to do a showcase with a bunch of PlayStation logos in it. And that's why PlayStation doesn't need to say anything. And I'm like, what? And a Twitch Prime from WD21. Thank you so much for doing that. 6:02 on the day. I'm sorry, 6:02 on the week. You guys are working on a stretch goal now for Friday night. I'll let you hear some more of my music. I've been cooking up some more songs for y'all. Somebody earlier asked what kind of music. It's sort of like, I don't want to call it screamo, but like it kind of feels like some of like that classic Under Oath screamy, but also really soaring vocals. And like I wrote all the lyrics, so I don't know how many songs I've written now. It's somewhere around 20. I can't stop. It's just happening. But yeah, I let people listen last week. If you go back to last week's Friday Night with Madam stream, you can hear some of the music. Mediocre showcases are pretty lame. I think Capcom a few years ago, they don't have anything better to hold off. See, here's the thing though, Kirk. You and I might think that like a mediocre state of play is a waste of time. But the general public doesn't think that. They don't think that. Like, it doesn't, the general public is like, oh, cool games. They're not like, oh, where's first party? The general public is like, cool, more games are coming. Javera says, that's a perfect description. It sounds like crap that I would love when I was 17, and any slight problem made me feel like my life got nuked from orbit. That's the sound it started like shaping into, Zuby, after like 15 songs, and I just fell in love with it. I was like, this kind of embodies what I'm writing. It really embodies the righteous indignation. Can we get 24 more likes on YouTube? Guys, take a quick second, especially if you're watching, lurking, and listening every day on YouTube. Go through that ritual when you get here. Hit that like button. And Twitch, you can hit follow. That's the heart button. And you can sub. And you'll never see any advertisements on the Twitch. You can bypass all that. Yeah, it has a Kill Switch Engage vibe as well, a little bit. Yeah, Kill Switch, Under Oath, throw it in a blender. So went from Xbox has no games to Xbox games to Xbox has games, but they aren't good. To now, PlayStation need to showcase. Xbox will be the showcase for PlayStation. I mean, I'm not saying that. I don't know who's saying that, Cobra Kai. Nobody here's saying that. It feels like you're shadowboxing. But I don't think anybody's saying that. I don't think Sony is playing the social media thing anymore. They're moving to corporate marketing for games that present immediate ROI. They don't need to promote Death Stranding 2 because it already had 2 major showcases. He's definitely shadowboxing. Yeah, I don't see anybody saying that. Nobody's saying, oh, it's fine that we don't get a showcase because Xbox is going to do a showcase. I think people are trolling and saying that the Xbox showcase is a PlayStation showcase. I think those people are just trolling, though. I don't think they're being serious. I mean, I don't take that serious if that's what people are saying. I don't think that's a serious way of looking at it at all. That's just somebody being a troll. I'm definitely trolling. Yeah, Siriu was obviously trolling. He wasn't being serious. Linkin Park's one of your favorites, still is. It sometimes has that vibe because there's some sections where, like, I think I write too many words. And it's like, we're going to have to rap this. You know what I mean? Like how there's, like, rapping sections in, like, Linkin Park. So I've gone back and rewrote some of the lyrics to not be as wordy. It makes it more punchy and it sounds better. If they get too wordy, it's like the vocalization trips on itself. It's like trying to say all the words in one sentence, and it can't. Lost Soul aside might need to stay to play, but the next big Sony thing in October, so them doing something in September or even late August would get the most games in one event. No, and like I said, I have two thoughts on this. PlayStation opting to do a showcase in September instead of the summer makes perfectly good sense because it's right before Yote, and then they can transition. Some of the focus of the showcase would be Soros, Intergalactic, Phantom Blade Zero, maybe Wolverine. You got 4 big bangers that are coming next year. Let's just say Wolverine's coming because I think it is next year. That's 4. You would then have part of the showcase be casting a vision for how full 2026 is going to be. Because PlayStation just did an earnings report and they indicated that first-party units are going to increase in the next fiscal year. So they're getting ready to increase their cadence of first-party. Intergalactic is not next year. How could you possibly know that? You think they announced a game at the end of 2023 and it's not going to come out for 4 years? That wouldn't make any sense at all. I'm sorry, at the end of 2024. You think it's going to take 3 years for that to come out? That wouldn't make an ounce of sense. So you think they announced Intergalactic at the end of 2024 and it's coming in 2027? They're going to make us wait 3 years? They've not been doing that anymore. Wolverine is like the last game for them to do that with. Like, hey, we're going to announce it, and then it's going to take a really long time to come out. PlayStation has completely moved away from doing that. The games they're announcing now, they come out within about a year to a year and a half. They don't wait that long anymore. I think that would be stupid. I would argue that's stupid. There was no reason to do that then. Intergalactic is most likely a cross-gen game. What? Based on what? You think that they're not going to come? The next gen's not going to be here until 2028. What are you talking about? When we got 4 years into this gen, PlayStation indicated we were entering into the second half, meaning 4 more years. So 2028 is when the PS6 is landing. You're out of your head if you think they announced Intergalactic at the end of 2024 and they're going to make you wait 4 years? No. I'm serious. If Intergalactic doesn't come out next year, that doesn't make any sense from a marketing standpoint. They didn't need to announce it. They didn't need to announce it. They could have saved it. Intergalactic in 2028 would only be a 1-year delay. It wouldn't be a 1-year delay. There's no way you're assuming it's coming out in 2027. There's no way they're doing that. Because that's when the rumored Xbox is coming out. I assume PS6 is 2027. PlayStation's not doing anything in the realm of Xbox's hardware strategy. They don't care what Xbox does. Intergalactic is 100% a PS6 launch title. What is happening? You guys are insane if you think that. There's no way. Wolverine is 2027. I'm not going to make any guesses on Wolverine. I still think Wolverine's next year. You guys think they pushed out a lengthy cinematic trailer in 2024 for a PlayStation 6 launch title. So let me just analyze how bad I think this logic is, because it's bad. You think halfway through the PS5 gen, one of their lead studios drops a lengthy cinematic trailer for a PlayStation 6 launch title. You guys are really, really out in left field on this. You're super out in left field. Ain't no way. That doesn't make any sense. That would be the weirdest thing. For Stretch, can we listen to the whole song of You're Fading? I don't know. I feel like that's an extra stretch. That's you're asking a lot. They just hired an actor for the game 1 week ago, and he hasn't done any filming yet. Okay. And that's like that's not something that takes longer. So So let's say it's a late 2026 release. They have a year and a half. Like what? I don't think it makes an ounce of sense to trot out Naughty Dog of all studios to have a cinematic that long and to be like, oh yeah, the game's 3 or 4 years away. When a game is 3 or 4 years away, you get like a teaser trailer. You get like a logo or something. No shot they're still filming and hiring when the game is coming out next year. I don't see how that's this big daunting task for them. That's not that big of an element for them to handle in a year and a half. They've been working on it since 2020. Yeah, the current word on the street is that they've been working on it since 2020. So you guys think it's a 7-year dev cycle game? 7 years? I'm here to tell you, y'all are nuts. 2027, maybe early 2027. I could see it slipping out of the end of 2026, like into early 2027. But I don't know. To have a cinematic that is that long, that's that lengthy. They shipped Last of Us Part 2 in 2020, so it stands to reason at some point in that year, or maybe even 2021, they started working on this. So next year would be a 5 to 6 year dev cycle. Are you guys insane? You don't think 5 to 6 years is enough? Flip this for the future? Homie, people that do that don't have a great track record with me. Yeah, I'm going to clip this for the future. Like, what was the guy saying that, like, Starfield was going to be top 3 selling game of the year? And he's like, clip this for the future. Okay, yeah, clip this for the future. The fact, I'll go one further. The fact that Neil Druckmann just confirmed they're working on another game right now as well, that tells me that Intergalactic is not 2 years away. It's about a year and a half away. I don't think it's like 2 to 2.5 to 3 years away. You wouldn't be working on another project if that was the case. If it was that far away, you'd probably be all hands on deck. You'd be like, man, we're 5 years into this dev cycle and we still have 2 years to go. You'd put more people on the project. Yo, what's good, Feed? I see you in the chat. Seeing the fall of Bungie is comical. I would use the word biblical, but yeah, it's been an impressive fall from grace, probably undeserved. Anyway, Elu took 7 years, and it's a sequel. Intergalactic is a new IP with new assets. Tlu 2 didn't take 7 years because they weren't done with Tlu 1. They were doing stuff with Tlu 1 for a while. Because Tlu 1 originally did come out in 2013, but they were doing stuff with it. No, I don't think so. I don't think the actual dev cycle of Tlu 2 is 7 years. No, they would have started on that probably in 2014 or 15. It would have been a 5 or 6 year dev cycle. Just like Intergalactic is probably a 5 or 6 year dev cycle. Active development for Tlu 2 is about 5 years. That's what I'm saying. You guys thinking that a studio like Naughty Dog is going to take 7 to 8 years to build and ship a game? What? It took 5 to 6 years. I Googled it. Right. And so if they started on Intergalactic in 2020 or 2021, then 2026 is a 5-year dev cycle. Now, if it slips into like early 2027, because delays happen, that's in the same ballpark. That's a 5 to 6 year dev cycle. I think it's late next year based on their pattern and based on how much they showed. I was going to say, I swear I got 2027 from somewhere. I don't know where you would have gotten it. Okay, Jason Schreier took to Reset Era, saying that neither The Witcher 4 nor Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet will be out next year. That means, like The Witcher 4, Intergalactic will be 2027. You got it from Schreier. I think that's an insane dev cycle. The only reason that I would believe that's the dev cycle is maybe they were planning on factions being this year or next year, and that would have been like the cadence of like TLOO 2, 4 or 5 years later, factions, 2 years later, intergalactic. And now that factions hasn't happened, it feels like a bigger gap. Maybe that's why. That seems insane to me. To take 7 years to build intergalactic? I mean, Neil has said that the combat has the most depth that they've ever built. So maybe it's taken them a long time. I don't know. That seems really slow for them. That seems really slow. 5 year, they didn't get rolling until 2022. You think it took them 2 years to get rolling after TLOO 2? Yeah, Witcher 4 makes more sense because all the stuff with Cyberpunk just came to an end a little bit ago. Witcher 4, that doesn't surprise me at all because Cyberpunk was eating up a ton of bandwidth at the company. They had like that graph with like how many people were working on Phantom Liberty. It was a ton of the company. But Intergalactic, it's like, are you serious? If that's the case, then I think they jumped the gun on the marketing. I do. I think they jumped the gun on the marketing. I don't think you should be marketing a game at the end of 2024 if it's not coming out until 3 years after that. 2027 is 3 years after that. I think that's too far out. That's on you. PlayStation's marketing, they have not been doing that. They have not been doing that. That seems odd to me. TLOO is 2013, Uncharted 4 2016, Uncharted Lost Legacy 2017, TLOO 2 2020, Intergalactic 2026 seems possible. Yeah, Alex just added some good context that, yes, The Last of Us was 2013, but then Uncharted 4 came out 3 years later, Lost Legacy came out a year after that, and then The Last of Us Part 2 came out 3 years after Lost Legacy, 4 years after Uncharted 4. Like, right? Their cadence of delivery, and again, maybe they were hoping that The Last of Us Online was going to be in there somewhere. You know? I think they definitely jumped the gun on the marketing. I will be critical of that. I'll be like, I don't like when companies do that. I don't like that anymore. Don't show me a trailer. Don't tell me about your game if it's 3 years away. If it's somewhere around 18 months, 24 months, okay, I'd prefer it to be 12 to 18 months away. Like, stop it. Stop doing it. It isn't needed. It doesn't achieve anything. Yeah, Wolverine, I give Wolverine a pass because it's an early gen trajectory like setter. I thought that was fine when Xbox did the same thing. Xbox had a ton of trailers for games like State of Decay and Hellblade and Fable and like all these games that only one of those three has seen the light of day, and we heard about them at the beginning of the gen. I think that's fine. I think when you come with a teaser trailer or an announcement trailer at the beginning of the gen, that's different than being halfway through the gen and being like, here's like a 5-minute intergalactic trailer and the game's 3 years away. Like, what? Like, why even show us that? It doesn't make any sense. These stupid spam toll texts are so annoying. You owe money. Enforcement is coming. That could be what happens when they have a showcase but nothing in the chamber. They're inclined to show something too early. I mean, but that wasn't what happened with Intergalactic, so that would be a misdiagnosis. They weren't doing a showcase. They've not done a showcase for 2 years. You know, they haven't done a showcase for 2 years. Like, okay, so let's say Intergalactic isn't 2026. We know they've got Saros. We know they've got Phantom Blade Zero. I'm telling you, if Wolverine doesn't come out next year, I don't know what the frick Insomniac's doing. I don't know what they're doing. The hack set back Wolverine. A lot of people have said that. I don't know. I don't know if I believe that. Naughty Dog has no game this gen. They need this. Well, people are continually critical of that. And the thing that I think they miss is that Naughty Dog released a Game of the Year winning game in 2020 right before this gen started. So it's a little unfair to be like, oh, they haven't had anything this gen. And it's like, it's only been 5 years since their last game, which is why I'm like, Intergalactic should be next year, Naughty Dog. What are you doing? That'll be 6 years since your last game. That seems like a fair expectation to me. Sorry, I'm not trying to do the armchair developer thing, but it's like having a 6-year cadence between your games doesn't seem like I'm asking too much. Now, when it was 2023 and 2024 and people were giving Naughty Dog a bunch of grief about not having a game this gen, that was stupid. That was ignorant. It was like, it's only been 3 years. It's only been 4 years since their last game. What are y'all talking about? But I think 6 years, I think that's a fair cadence. I do. I don't think I'm asking too much there. 5 to 8 years is the average AAA dev cycle. I don't know where you're getting that number. 5 to 8? What are you basing that off of? 5 to 8? It's usually 5 to 6, not 5 to 8. The number of AAA games that take 8 years to develop, I don't think there are that many. That's any game that takes that long has got to be the minority. I don't know where you're getting that number. Kirk, you're asking about the Venom game. I think that might be a surprise holiday release because PlayStation's recent earnings report said they anticipate an increase in first-party units sold this fiscal period. Last fiscal period had Helldivers 2 in it. Helldivers 2 sold an insane amount of copies. It was like record-breaking for them. I don't know if Lost Soul aside, Yote and Death Stranding 2 have the chutzpah to outsell Helldivers 2 this year. I just don't know. Helldivers was like breaking sales records for PlayStation. It also had the unique advantage of also being on PC, which Yote and Death Stranding 2 will not have that advantage. Now, maybe they're anticipating Lost Soul aside doing very well in the Chinese market on PC. I don't know. I don't know. But there could be. I continue to think that Venom game is real because Insomniac, I think they learned with Miles Morales that doing like a $40 game with existing assets is more profitable than doing DLC. Spider-Man 2 got no DLC. I think they did a Venom game. I think they did it in the existing assets of Spider-Man 2, and they can sell it for $40 or $50 and make a killing. Who's not going to want to play as Venom? Look how popular Venom memes are just in Marvel Rivals. Like, it could do very well. Again, Lost Soul aside could be a banger in China. I don't know. I don't know what PlayStation's basing their predictions off of. They could have a secret game that they're holding back, or it could be Lost Soul aside in China that's going to sell an incredible amount of copies on PC, because that is a market that they're trying to break into, according to Shuhei Yoshida, about like there's no footprint for consoles there. That's why China Hero is PC day and date. They canceled all the Spider-Man 2 DLCs. I have not been compelled. There are people that believe that. There are people that believe that the hacks slowed down Insomniac's work. I have not been compelled to believe that. I haven't been. I don't know. I don't know if I believe it. Guys, thanks for a strong turnout today on YouTube. Make sure you're hitting the like button. Thanks for a strong turnout on Twitch as well. The Twitch viewership's been very reliable, so thank you for that. It supports me. If you haven't renewed your Twitch Prime or your sub on Twitch, that's a way to get around the ads. If you're watching on YouTube and you have a celebration, go ahead and do that now. We're working on a big stretch goal for Friday night. I'll let you guys hear some more of my music. You guys seem to enjoy that. I enjoyed letting you hear it. It's very personal to me. It's kind of about like everything that's happened to me, as well as kind of about everything that's happened this year. There's a lot of justice rolling around right now, and I think it's great to see. Still wonder if Sony is kicking themselves for canceling the Spider-Verse game. Surely it would have performed better than Concord Marathon and Fair Games combined. First, there's no way to know that. Second, that means Insomniac would have had to support it, and they might have been staring down the same barrel that Naughty Dog was facing. I think PlayStation got a 2x4 to the face when Naughty Dog was told, if you want to do this, you're going to need to become a live service studio. I think that was a 2x4 to the face. It was like, oh, we can't just like slice off a little team and shove out a live service game. Like, is that what you want Insomniac doing? That's not what I want Insomniac doing. I want Insomniac making Spider-Man 3 and Wolverine and X-Men. I don't want Insomniac making a live service game and turning into a live service studio. I don't want that. I think, and people keep saying like, you know, oh, Bungie, what a wasted purchase. They're a lemon. It's like Bungie walked in the room and hit everybody in the face with a 2x4 and was like, you have no freaking clue what it takes to do live service. You're a bunch of morons. You are a bunch of morons. And they are sitting here telling you horror stories about their studio and how they got through the trenches of live service. And people are like, yeah, but their game stinks now and Marathon sucks. It's like, okay, that has nothing to do with the information that they've provided. They have provided really valuable information. You don't want Naughty Dog turning into a live service studio. You don't want Bend or Blue Point. Why do you think those games got canceled? Why? Because you don't want Bend becoming a live service studio. You don't want Blue Point becoming a live service studio. You don't. You would take the Spider-Verse game, at least for a few years. I would never trade Insomniac's ability to build single-player games for a live service game in the Spider-Verse. I wouldn't trade that in a million years. I wouldn't do that. No. You want live service studios doing live service games. Insomniac might not have even been good at it. You can't just become a live service studio. You got to have people that understand content rhythms, parallel development. You're working on rhythmic seasonal content cadence. If you don't have a clue how to do that because your studio's been building single player games for the last 15 to 20 years, that's the last thing you want to do is like, well, let's take a crack at that live service thing that virtually everybody seemingly fails at. And according to Bungie, it wrings out your studio like a rag, and it's really, really hard to do. I don't want studios trying to do live service. You want to either build a live service studio, which is probably going to be the result of Bungie falling down into a million pieces right now in front of our very eyes. Sony's probably going to spin up smaller incubation projects and studios because those studios will have experience within live service and they'll be able to help. They'll be able to do it. Like, I would say spin up and build live service studios. Don't suddenly turn into a live service studio. Bungie's a lemon, though. Destiny's cool and all, but Bungie's biggest contribution is scaring the crap out of devs for making live service and getting some of these projects canceled. You don't think that's valuable? Adam, you don't think that's valuable, like what they saved Naughty Dog from? I think that's valuable. I think Blue Point not going forward with a live service game and Bend not going forward with a live service game. It's not just Naughty Dog. Those are three great studios that just got saved a ton of trouble and got saved a ton of loss. They were going to lose a ton of money on those projects and a ton of production, a ton of wasted effort and wasted time. Those three studios alone, that's worth what they bought Bungie for in my mind. That's worth it. Not only that, SIE has already absorbed like 200 some odd people, and Bungie and PlayStation's already been able to spin up a new studio. I feel like that's worth it. They're going to come away from this benefiting, and then Bungie leadership's just going to ride off into the sunset with their payments, and then hopefully they can rebuild Bungie out of the rubble and get new leadership in there. But I don't think for a minute PlayStation is regretting the purchase. Because if they wouldn't have purchased them, Naughty Dog would have tried to do The Last of Us Online. It would have failed. They wouldn't have been able to support it. They would have been like, well, we want to do Intergalactic and whatever this other game is that they're working on, according to Neil Druckmann. That would have been embarrassing. Bend would still be working on a live service game. Blue Point would still be working on a God of War live service game. That would all be still happening if you didn't have Bungie in the room saying, you guys don't know what the frick you're doing. Now, you could say, Concord failing was what led to all that. But I think it was a both and. I think it was both Concord failing and Bungie walking at the room at one of the more respected studios underneath PlayStation's ownership. They walked in the room and said, you have zero clue what it takes to do something like this. You're out of your head. You're out of your head. You're not out of your head. You're out of your depth. Yeah, Shuhei says that. Shuhei Yoshida has been notorious for saying that PlayStation cancels games all of the time. All of the time. Jay Shabu says, I think it's valuable to get input from Bungie on live service, but at what point do you just take a chance on a live service game regardless of what you could lose versus what you could gain? I think Helldivers 2, and they're now like, their former CEO said they're getting like 2.5. Apparently Tony Dalton has a role in Intergalactic. Yeah, he's the guy in the picture with the mustache. Apparently, according to the former CEO, Helldivers has like 2.5 million players a week. Do you ever think that that's why PlayStation's like, no, we're going to keep doing this live service thing? Because they're looking at Helldivers and they're saying, not a huge studio, not a huge budget. We're getting 2.5 million players a week. And now look at the numbers. Now that they pushed out this update. That's why they're going to keep trying the live service thing. That's why they're going to keep doing it. They got a taste of what it means when something works. And I think that's why they took projects to the threshing floor. I think they said, if we're going to do this, it needs to be studios where that is their focus. It can't be Naughty Dog. It can't be Bend. It can't be Blue Point. It can't. And think about what Guerrilla's doing. Guerrilla is not building an MMO. NCSoft or whoever's building it, and Guerrilla's helping. Guerrilla's building another single-player Horizon game and then like a multiplayer Horizon game. They're not going to try to turn Guerrilla into a live service studio either. I think that's the way forward. If PlayStation's going to have success in live service, it needs to be studios where that's their focus and that's what they do. You don't want to walk in the room and be like, hey, you guys have been doing single-player games for a decade. You want to try live service? I mean, look at what happened when ZeniMax told Arcane to build Redfall. Look what happened. They were like, that's not what we do. And the results were pretty bad. I'm tired of hearing this narrative. Wait until Sony takes over Bungie. Like, Sony has no input on what Bungie is doing whatsoever. They don't. They don't have any input. They have the contracts allowing Bungie to operate independently. Homie, if Sony had a say in what was going on, Pete Parsons would have been gone after he wrote the blog post that said, I pushed the company into the red and now we're having to lay people off. Don't even like, you're out of here, Pete. They can't get rid of anybody and they can't take over right now. The contract doesn't allow for that. They don't. This is like people in the Randy Pitchford thing saying that Randy Pitchford's the CEO and he can totally, dictate what the price is. No, that's incorrect. That is not true. The publisher determines that. And in this situation, Sony has no control over what Bungie's doing right now. Operations and the agreement is they're operating independently. Sony owns everything, but they have no jurisdiction in how things are operating there right now. Because if they did, I think they would have gotten rid of Pete Parsons. You're not going to have all these reports about leadership and HR covering up misconduct. If PlayStation was in charge, they'd be kicking the door in and they'd be firing people. They'd be doing their own internal investigation assessment and then they'd be firing people. Duke with 26 months. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much, Duke. I don't know if you guys remember this, but that headline just recently hit. I told you guys in 2021 when IGN wrote that puff piece for Bungie, making them seem like the heroes, I said, this is a cover-up. They're covering up misconduct. And we just found out from former employees that have been speaking with Destin Legary, former employees are saying HR was covering up harassment. Oh, I'm so surprised. I have a question. have a question. People were really concerned about accountability in 2020. Why aren't they talking about this? Where are the tweets? Where are the videos? Where's your virtuous endeavor to hold somebody accountable? Where is it? Where was it when Christopher Barrett got fired? That silence is deafening. It's deafening. What did Destin say about 2021? No. You're confusing things here. Hang on. Where's your post? You want to ask where are my posts? Plural? They're all over Twitter. You can go read them. I've got videos that I've done calling them out. Streams where I'm calling them out. What do you mean, where's my posts? In 2021, Hellfire, IGN wrote an article. It was by Rebecca Valentine. She's also the one who wrote the hit piece on Black Myth Wukong that was absolutely bankrupt, and it was so egregious. No journalistic integrity in her work about Black Myth Wukong at all. It was bogus. And Chew Fitz, she also wrote a puff piece for Bungie in 2021, just completely trying to let Pete Parsons run a PR game about all the misconduct at the company. They painting them as heroes. And I said at the time when I read the article, I said, this is a cover-up. There were people at the company that were still afraid to speak out at that point in time out of fear of retaliation. People said no more cancel culture. This is what no cancel culture looks like. Kirk, I would sit this one out if I were you. If that's your contribution to the conversation, it's probably best you sit this discussion out. Nobody's talking about cancel culture. We're talking about holding companies accountable for lying, stealing, covering up misconduct. No one's talking about cancel culture. Did anybody say anything about a boycott? Did anybody say anything about brigading for firings? No. Nobody's going for cancel culture. Weren't they trying to play up trimming toenails in the office to downplay real issues? Discord's preparing new virtual currency to spend. Users will be able to acquire it by completing quests and watching ads. In return, they'll get orbs in which they can buy cosmetics on Discord. The sooner Sony takes over, the better. Didn't they hire too many during the pandemic? And now... I'm not sure what you're talking about, Hotshot. There should be a balance between the harmful extremes of laissez-faire politics and cancel culture in gaming and in general. Yeah, I'm not advocating for cancel culture. I'm saying people were really, really gung-ho about calling out misconduct, calling out, bad behavior in 2020, and now they don't seem to care all of a sudden. When it's Bungie, it's suddenly like, well, yeah, now we're not going to say anything. And posturing as if that's people being like, well, I don't want to do cancel culture. Really? You think that's why they're not saying anything? That's what you think is going on? People that were glad and thrilled to use their platforms to just absolutely railroad and torch me over nothing. Now they're suddenly silent about this kind of stuff when we have concrete information and evidence and clear patterns of things and paper trails, and now they're just like, yeah, we're not going to say anything. Public enforced mandated accountability is cancel culture? Is it not? If it's not, That's where the discrepancy lies. No, accountability when there's clear evidence of misconduct, ownership. Like, let's just take the marathon art theft, right? It's not cancel culture to say they should take accountability for what they did and make it right. That's not cancel culture. No. That's justice. That's balancing the scales. They did something wrong and they should fix it. That's being held accountable, right? And what they should have done, instead of blaming it on some mythical former employee, they should have owned the fact that they stole, and they should have had the art director step down. That's ownership. That's accountability. This blaming some former employee and minimizing, they only apologized for the oversight. They didn't even apologize for the theft. They just blamed it on some invisible figment, and they're like, yeah, this oversight's inexcusable. That's not accountability. And I'm not saying he should be fired. I'm saying what accountability would look like is owning what you did and having the person responsible take responsibility for it. That's a consequence of theft, proven theft. Now, if you want to say, oh, it wasn't him, it happened on his watch. And he follows the guy on Twitter. He follows the girl. He follows the artist on Twitter. Grubb is in his show right now. He said there is going to be a state of play in June. That's what I'm saying. Like, I can't imagine there not being anything from PlayStation in the summer. It would be so weird. Speaking of accountability, what happened to Dr. Lupo for cheating in chess? He admitted it, but what was the punishment? Well, I mean, that one works itself out in my mind. A significant loss of credibility and trustworthiness from someone who postures as very trustworthy and righteous. I mean, I think that's a self-inflicted form of justice. I also think he is attempting to say he'll pay for a charity event. He'll pay for, some other tournament or something. I would say that's a noble effort to put things right? But there's an element of like, oh, you can pay money and make it all go away. I don't think it's all going to go away. I don't think so. I think that follows him. I think there's an element of like when you're a public person and you do something wrong in view of the public, it's proven, you cheat, you lie 3 times, and then you finally admit, well, okay, that's like self-inflicted justice. Like there's just going to be a period of time where people just don't trust him or support him, and he'll have to re-earn that trust. That all happened in view of the public. Somebody didn't come out and say, Dr. Lupo was mean to me once, 7 years ago, take everything he has. Do you see the difference? Homie got caught in 4K, not cheating. Homie got caught in 4K, also lying. And the consequences are visible. The consequences are tangible, right? Do you see the difference? Somebody being investigated and fired for misconduct, for being a predator, that's consequences for your actions in an appropriate way. We have concrete information now about horrible things happening at Bungie, misconduct being covered up, and nobody's saying anything. But vague stories and tweets 5 years ago, well, that's enough. That's all we need. Everybody get your pitchforks and your bonfires ready to cook somebody alive. Like that is what I'm pointing out here. It's just blatant hypocrisy. When you have concrete information and evidence, it's just dead silent. Nobody's saying a word, And listen, I've had my run-ins and my issues with Destin Legary before. Props to him for doing this. That's a bridge being burned. Let's just say it. That man is burning a bridge with Bungie right now by running his report and speaking to former employees and exposing the corruption at Bungie. You talk about torching a bridge. That's a burnt bridge. Bungie won't work with him ever again. It won't. Unless they come under new leadership and PlayStation takes over. Mad respect for Destin doing that. Because that's a burnt bridge. that's burning a bridge with a company that he's done things with for a very long time. He's had a relationship with them for a very long time. He was on a podcast called Fireteam Chat, for crying out loud. BLK Karma, thanks for using your Prime sub on me over here on Twitch. I appreciate it very, very much. Time to make the cookies. I remember a time when I thought Bungie was one of the best studios in the industry 20 years ago. Now I pray for a swift and quick end. Yo, El Duderino, thank you so much for the renewal. Oh, hey, I'm getting distracted. I got to add these. So Twitch just added one. Oops. And another one coming in from El Duderino, and that takes a total to 605. We are officially 20 away from the next milestone. Remember, whoever hits it gets it. 625 is the next one. Yeah, Lucen, I thought Pitchford was just leaning into the joke. Like, Devolver took their shot, and he joked right back, and then Devolver joked back and put it on a poster. And then Randy this morning, apologized and clarified he wasn't trying to say what people thought he was trying to say. I was like, that's not his intention. If you listen to his original answer to the question at the Q&A segment, where he had more than like a limited character, ability to say something, he was a lot more careful. I wasn't trying to draw a comparison to your situation. Rather, I think the public's rabid need for justice or lack thereof applies to both cancel culture and evidentiary consequences, or whatever we're calling it. Public fervor or lack thereof affects both. I don't think people's silence on Bungie is because they're like, yeah, it's time for us to stop doing cancel culture. Do you want to know why I know that? Because right now, if I suddenly got caught into some scandal, they'd be the first to talk about it. Like, I don't know. My second day back on Twitch, somebody was viewbotting me, and people wasted no more than, 7 seconds before they used their platform to slander me and make me look bad. It took 7 seconds, and they were like, yeah, so they're viewbotting. But Bungie gets caught stealing, misconduct, Barrett gets fired, nothing, not a word. Not a word. But yeah, they're silent because they're not down with cancel culture anymore. That's why they're quiet. Uh-huh. Come on. And here's the thing. I don't even think we're done hearing. I think this is the beginning. This is opening salvo. That's what this is called. This is the opening salvo. There is probably an ocean of stuff that's going to come out about Bungie. There's an ocean of stuff coming out. This is just the beginning. This is just people willing to speak to Destin. And you know what's going to happen? It's like pulling at a thread in a sweater. It's just going to unravel. Because more and more people are going to be emboldened to be like, well, I'll talk to the press. Well, I'll talk to this person. Well, I'll talk to that person. Why? Well, people already have. Talking about self-enterprising. What's up, YouTubers? Stand a game from criticizing Barrett. But going after you is clout chasing. Right, which what you're saying, Kirk, is an indictment of everything that happened, because it shows it was never about doing the right thing or taking down a bad person. It was opportunism at best. Like, you're literally putting meat on the bones, Kirk. It's like, yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. If you really cared about taking down bad people and pointing out bad people and actors and accountability, then you would be doing your due diligence right now to let folks know about what's going on at Bungie and what has been going on at Bungie. Oh, and also when IGN wrote their puff piece in 2021, I literally had ex-employees reach out and thank me for my coverage at the time. Why? You now know. Everybody wanted to make Bungie the hero at the time. And I was like, they're not the hero. Are you guys reading the same article I'm reading? Like, oh, Good job, Bungie, trying to improve things and make things right. No, I don't think they can get rid of Pete. No, I think the contract makes it to where they can't get rid of Pete or other leadership at the company. They can't do it. I think they would have done it already. Why would somebody do that? Don't more viewers equal a good thing? Cobra, view botting is frowned upon, so if somebody's blatantly view botting, they get ridiculed, attacked, and, it's a way to be disruptive. And it was disruptive. All of a sudden, I had people coming in and accusing me of view botting because people were quick to use their platforms to talk about it and to make it seem like I was doing something nefarious. And it was like, I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting here hanging out. If somebody's going to do that, I mean, who would view bot in the just chatting directory? You're never gonna compete with like what? I think people hit me for like 500 or something. I think it was like 500 bots. It was like, what? That's not going to do anything in the just chatting directory. It was idiotic. It was stupid. Why is Kai not being frowned upon? You think Kai is viewbotting? Why would you think that? Dude is like hugely popular. I do see now that your oppression by this corporation you tried to tell everyone about appears to be very tangible and real. I really appreciate you saying that, Kirk. I hope more people see that. I really do. I said it this morning in Morning Coffee. How many more people that were directly involved in what happened to me need to be exposed before people realize there's a pattern emerging here? There's a pattern emerging. Barrett exposed. Wife admits to being a liar and not a good person. Two central figures in what happened to me. Now Bungie's being exposed. One of the big time signal boosters gets caught cheating and lying. Is a pattern emerging for anybody yet? Like, I don't know. I mean, we've been talking about pattern recognition, right? All games are going woke, pattern recognition. Is anybody seeing a pattern yet? Anybody? You don't have to be Sherlock Holmes. You do not have to be Sherlock Holmes. It's like anybody attached to this thing. It's like, who's left? We're running out of people. We're running out of organizations. There's only a couple left. I screamed and shouted for years that, like, y'all are looking at the wrong people and the wrong person. You're trusting the wrong people. You don't know why anybody watches Kai? You need a more chill streamer? You need it explained to you why people watch Kai? He is an amazing entertainer. He works really hard. I have said this so many times, okay? I think that Kai Cenat and iShowSpeed are doing more for live streaming than anybody ever has. I love Tyler. I love what Ninja's done. I think Ninja's gotten a lot of undeserved hate. Ninja did big things for Fortnite and big things for Twitch. Ninja put streaming on Twitch like on the map. You know what I'm saying? This guy's in Target. This guy's got merch in Target. This guy's, going into mainstream outlets and talking about what he does for a living. Kai and iShowSpeed are doing more for live streaming than anybody ever has. I mean that. These guys are absolutely changing they're changing the game. They are. They're completely changing the game. Do you guys remember, it was about 5 or 6 years ago, I said that the future of live streaming would be won by the people who focus on more curated, highly entertaining content. I said you're not going to see people having these big breakout moments anymore, just sitting in the corner playing video games. I said the future of live streaming will be won by the people who do curated, highly entertaining content, like, I don't know, decorating your entire streaming room to look like Elden Ring and wearing Radahn's outfit. Like, that's it. These guys are doing it. They're doing the work. They're elevating the game. They're saying, yeah, or a Batcave. Listen, these guys are literally what I prophesied about. I was like, that's where streaming is going to go. Is that really entertaining, though? Are you really going to do the thing that because you don't find it entertaining, you're going to conclude that it's not entertaining? Who the frick do you think's watching them? Oh, yeah, his entire audience is 15-year-olds. There it is. There it is. Yeah. You don't like it, so the people that like it must be stupid or young or immature. You're messing around. Well, don't do that. Don't insult the work that these men do. I have nothing but respect for these guys. These guys work, and they are passionate. And come on, you don't have to like them. You don't have to be entertained by them to see what they're doing. I probably wouldn't watch their streams for very long. Kai always sounds like he's going hoarse. He always sounds like he's losing his voice, probably because he screams so much. Like it grates. I can't listen to somebody who has like they need to clear their throat or something. I can't do it. It bothers me. But these guys are absolutely changing and elevating the game. They are. Like, look, iShowSpeed is becoming like an international sensation streaming. Just stop and think about that. Forget about like the setting off fireworks in his house and his computer falling on him and jumping over cars. Forget about all the bombast. Think about what the man's achieving. The dude's like traveling and streaming himself traveling, and he's becoming like an international sensation. Like, people recognize him wherever he goes. Like, that's crazy to me. And listen, the reason I really respect and I applaud all that they're doing, they could have gone a completely different way. They could have. They could have become fools that just sat around and did toxic content. And, you know, these guys like, what's his name, Johnny or whatever, that got arrested, being toxic and messing with people, right? There are plenty of content creators who make a huge, you know, uproarious growth, meteoric growth, you know, being toxic and being stupid, being fools, being buffoons. And these guys are showing you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. You can be an entertainer that's a little crazy, that's a little wild, but you don't have to be a buffoon. You don't have to be toxic. You don't have to be foolish. Yeah, IJ Shabu. You think eventually it'll come out? I think eventually it'll all come out as well. A lot of it's like open secrets that people are aware of. A lot of stuff. Yeah. People in China love Speed for showcasing their culture to Westerners and having genuine interest in their society and culture. I know you guys don't really know about soccer, but Speed was in a Champions League Sky Sports studio talking about the Champions League, the same kid that set off fireworks in his room. That's right. I think it speaks very well of their character. I think it speaks very well of who they are. They got notoriety, they got popular, and instead of just being like, well, I'm going to do the race to the bottom, foolish lowbrow content, they decided to be more about entertaining and more about like positivity. I cheer them on from the sidelines. I'll probably never interact with them. I'll probably never be a part of anything they're doing. That's never going to happen. We're not in the same hemisphere. I'm cheering them on from the sidelines. I'm like, keep going. That benefits me. It benefits me. The bigger and the more successful that streaming is seen, the more there is for the rest of us. A rising tide lifts all boats. So I'm like, dude, keep going. You guys are crushing it. I love it. I absolutely love it. Kirk got laid out. I'm sorry, not Kirk. Kirk said that Speed got laid out at WrestleMania. There's nothing he's not willing to try in terms of entertainment. I love it. I love it. The clips are great. The clips are they're wonderful. Like Lono says, narrative armor. Preemptively try to convince people why you're doing what you're doing before the truth comes out. I mean, Dingo, I'm glad that people are seeing that. I'm really glad that people are being that perceptive, because I've tried to. I am not at all gonna go on a revenge circuit. I'm not. I don't hold ill will or vengeance. It's just, to me, it's always been about the truth. The truth will come out. I want the truth to come out. I want people to see the reality of what actually happened. And I think that's slowly starting. You know, duck and cover. I would duck and cover, because the threads are falling apart. Kai and Speed's clips feels like Family Guy cutaways. That's good. That's a good descriptor. That's a good descriptor. I like that. I just like when I see young men choosing a better path, because they're young men that could have hurt themselves, they could have hurt other people, especially Speed. I think Speed was on a path that could have been very bad. It could have been bad and dangerous and toxic just for him and the people around him. And I was like, this young man is going to hurt himself. He's going to ruin his life if he keeps going this direction. And I feel like he got good people in his corner. I feel like he's showing he's got a good head on his shoulders, and he decided to go a different path. I absolutely love and celebrate that. I do. I think maintaining focus on Bungie and not any individuals is very prudent and tactful, especially given the current climate. Yeah, to me, it's just a larger trend, Kirk. Like, I'm trying to stay super zoomed out on it. I'm like, the trend is clear. I said the other day, the karma dragon has been awoken, and it's breathing fire. And whether or not you believe in karma, or you believe in, an element of cosmic justice, like that it's woven into the fabric of what we do, like at a metaphysical level, or just like that's just the natural course of things, cause and effect. However you view it, you could view it very scientifically in the realm of cause and effect. You could view it almost like metaphysically. You could view it more mystically, right? So karma would be more mystical, metaphysical would be more like philosophical, maybe even religious, and then you could be more scientific about it. Wherever you land, it's clear that the pendulum is swinging back, as it always will. As it always will. When you carry yourself in that way, whether it's personally, publicly, or how you manage your business, the pendulum will always swing back on you when you're doing things that are wrong. It takes a long time sometimes, but I believe that is a truth and a thing that is visible. And I said it for 5 years. I said it will happen, it will come. It always does. The zoos are crushing it. Wait, what's the problem? What is Ear saying? Oh, scamming people? Who's scamming people? Ears. Think there will be any harm to Destiny Rising from all of this? I don't think so, because Destiny Rising is a mobile game, and I think people that engage with mobile games are not really in these environments. Right? Logan Paul? I'm not up to speed on him scamming people. I'm not up to speed on that. I feel like he kind of turned things around once he got into wrestling. I've not paid any attention to him. He ran a crypto thing? Oh. Yeah, I don't know. I'm ignorant. I only ever saw him in positive light, like podcast clips and wrestling and stuff. He seemed like he had kind of changed his He seemed like he had kind of changed his approach as well to try to put himself on a bit of a redemption arc. I don't know. I'm not up to speed on Logan. He's into boxing. I thought that was Jake. I I thought Jake was the boxer and Logan was the wrestler. Have you played anything lately that has stuck with you? Expedition 33 haunts me in the best way possible. Doom has been really fun, but it's got flaws. It's not nearly at the threshold of 2016 in Eternal. Oh, Logan did box for a while. I didn't know that. CoffeeZilla did an expose. Oh, I remember that. I remember a CoffeeZilla's thing. That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, not a lot has stuck with me. AC Shadows kind of got its hooks in me. It got its hooks in me. And then I got to like the 40th hour and I was ready to be done. And then I got to 46 hours and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm in good company. A lot of people did that. Like I saw Nib was saying it on Twitter. Del Walker was saying it on Twitter. And I was like, same. I was like, same dudes. I'm in the same boat. I just can't go any further. Blueprints got its hooks in me. Madam and I were playing it like every night trying to solve it. That was really fun playing with her. Guys, could we get to 300 likes on the video? The likes took a bit of a pause there. Make sure you hit that like button on YouTube. What was the one before that? What was the thing I was playing before that? I rolled credits on a bunch of stuff this year. Plague Tale Requiem was... Oh, yeah. Death Stranding 1 got its hooks in me. Yeah, I could not stop playing that. I was thrilled that I gave it a second shot. That was really fun. I got 40-something hours in Death Stranding 1. That was really good. I liked that. I really liked rolling credits on Plague Tale Requiem. Tales of Iron 1 and 2 were fine. FF16 got really long in the tooth at the end. I loved FF16, but the fights... I don't get why they think a 25 to 45 minute fight is good. I thought they got extremely overindulgent with the fights late stage in FF16. I was like, when's it gonna end? Like, the fights just took forever. I liked it. I loved how cinematic it was. I loved the story elements. I loved the characters. But it got long in the tooth at the end. Is the embargo up yet? Yes, the embargo is up yet. Okay, so we are going to switch gears at some point. I am going to show, stream, and play a little bit of Tainted Grail. I did not do a first impressions video or like a review in progress video because performance of the game on the PS5 is very bad. They have what I consider to be a very good game on their hands, but I'm not sure what they're doing. It's stuck in quality mode. I can't turn it off quality mode. It's running at 1080 is what it says, and it stutters like crazy. It's not like 30 FPS. It's like a constant stutter snag. It's like nauseating. I sent a clip to Creature, and he was like, I can't even watch this. He's like, this is... Because I told him to watch it again. He's like, I can't. It's so bad. I sent him an email. They've been great. The devs have been great. I believe they will fix this. What's wrong with 30 FPS? It's 2025. That's what's wrong with it. I don't want to play FPS from 15 years ago. The demo was stuttering for me on PC. There's something baked into the crust, and I hope they can figure it out. They told me to turn off VSync, and it fixed it, and I was like, not really. It was a little bit better, but then you get a bunch of screen tearing, and you still get stutters. Play on PC instead of PlayStation? I don't need to do that. I haven't had to do that for anything except for Xbox games. I have not had to go to my PC for 60 FPS with my PlayStation. I don't know what you're talking about. I had to do that for Starfield and Hellblade. I haven't had to do that for a single game on my PlayStation, except for Revenge of the Savage Planet, but that's not a PlayStation game. That's a third-party game. And again, there's no excuse for that being 30 FPS. I don't know why you think in 2025 anybody would need to run to PC to get to 60 FPS when there's maybe 4 games this gen that have shipped from third-party developers that are capped at 30 out of a sea of like thousands of games. Like I don't. That logic isn't even logic. It's just ideological and like fanboy is like, it's fanboyish. Be like, we'll go to PC. What are you talking about? There's been almost no games this gen that have been capped at 30. The performance mode of FF16 was pretty bad, and on my Pro, it was tolerable. It wasn't nearly as bad on the Pro. That was another one. But again, that wasn't capped at 30. It was 60 in combat, and then it would be all over the place. Why do we have to hate on the Savage Planet devs? Because I don't give devs a pass. That was something they could have early on said is a priority. They didn't have to prioritize 4K and all the lighting and shadows. I think that's a bad choice. They're out here doing their best. Their best isn't good enough. If you're going to build a game that ships now in this gen, we're swimming in games. And you're like, we didn't prioritize frames per second, but we prioritized 4K and lighting and shadows and reflections. I'm like, I think that's dumb. Yeah, it's 4K 30 on console, Kirk. That's the problem. I barely made any changes to it on PC, and I got perfectly fine performance. Now, it still had seemingly like some kind of a memory leak issue, because like the longer Hilly and I played, like the worse it got. So they clearly are having some issues. But like, yeah, it's 4K 30 on console. I'm like, why? Why would you do that? Why would you make that the default mode for your game? It's the dialogue around 60 for the last 5 years has been crystal clear that people want 60. I don't get it. If it was 1080 30, would you be kinder or more harsh? If it was 1080 30, I'd be really curious as to what in the heck they were doing in the game that would require that. Do you see my logic on that, Kirk? Like, if you're 1080 30, what the heck kind of a game is it if it's running at 1080 30? What are you doing with your graphics? What are you doing with your lighting? Good golly, that shouldn't be a thing. 1080 30 should not be something that is uttered in 2025 unless it's internally 1080, upscale to 1440, or upscale to 4K and then it's 30. But even then, 1080 30? Dear Lord. That's like old gen performance. I know the games are much older, but I had to do that with Mass Effect Andromeda. After playing the Legacy Collection on PS4 at 60, the 30 FPS hard cap on Andromeda just made it unplayable. I understand the logic. I also understand it's their second game, and maybe not every studio is good at making games. If you're not good at making games, don't expect me to buy them or praise them or be... What? Huh? I don't understand. So you're saying we have evidence they're not good at making games. Why would I be gentle? Why would I be kind about that? You brought something to market. You didn't address the performance and the modes it would have. I had to find out after buying the game. And I'm supposed to be nice because not all studios are good at making games? I think 30 FPS is serviceable for small studios. I don't agree. Just maybe not lambasted. I didn't lambaste them. I didn't. I said that it was unacceptable. If that's lambasting, then I don't know. You got to put some skill points into posture and endurance. You got to be able to take a little bit of a hit. All I said was that it was unacceptable. Game shipping without a performance mode, game shipping capped at 30 in 2025 is unacceptable. I don't think you should be doing that. I don't think so. That's not me lambasting them. I didn't say they suck. I didn't say they're crap. I didn't say they're garbage or bad at their job. I'm like, this is unacceptable. Unacceptable feels like an aspersion to me. An attack on the reputation or integrity of someone or something. So, as a consumer, I say this is unacceptable. As in, we shouldn't accept this. Why should we accept it? If it's unacceptable is not an aspersion. Unacceptable is a standard. I'm saying this is my standard. This is unacceptable. I would argue the same thing about Tainted Grail. I don't think Tainted Grail is in a shippable state right now. I don't think that it is. It's unacceptable. It shouldn't ship like that. You should not be asking people to buy your game if it isn't feature complete. I think a performance mode, I think 60 FPS is feature complete in 2025. I do. In my opinion, current gen games should run 1080 60 minimum. 4K 30 is nice, but 4K 60 would be the new target for everyone. I don't think 4K 60 is the target. No. What's it cost? Why would that matter? Why would price of the game matter? Expedition 33 is $50. It's a lengthy game. Would we say that they're allowed to have performance problems because it's cheaper? What's up with Tainted Grail? Persistent skipping and stuttering. It was so bad I couldn't even record footage to do a video with. Like, it's really bad. They've acknowledged that it's a problem. If a phone is expensive versus cheap, you expect the more expensive phone to have comprehensive features. I would expect the more expensive phone to go above and beyond base level features. 60 FPS is a base level feature. The adage of you get what you pay for? No, I don't agree with that at all. There are plenty of games right now you can buy from anywhere from $30 to $60 that are 60 FPS. That's a base level feature. I don't think I'm asking for the world. Now, you're describing things like path tracing, like above and beyond ray tracing and reflections. Those are the bells and whistles that I actually expect smaller studios to not delve into. I don't expect them to delve into all of the fancy, like the global illumination in Assassin's Creed Shadows. If I was sitting here saying, this is ridiculous that Revenge of the Savage Planet doesn't have global illumination like AC Shadows, your point would stand. You'd be like, Lono, that's like an above and beyond thing. That's like a big studio thing. That's not a small studio thing. I actually think they tried to do the thing that I kind of don't want them to do. Don't reach for 4K and fancy lighting. Give me a good game at 60. What are you doing? Like, at some level, I think they tried to hit above their weight class, and that's why we got a game at 4K 30. I don't think they should have done that. I think they should have accepted like a 1440-60 performance threshold, and then if they had time to throw in like higher res and lighting, go for it. I think that's what devs should be targeting. 1440-60, don't throw all these stupid bells and whistles in just yet. Get the game at 1440-60, get it running well. And then if you want to throw in lighting, reflections, and higher res, do that after the fact. That's the above and beyond features of the better phone analogy that you made. To me, that's how I view it. Insider Jeff Grubb claims that Sony is actually doing a show in June. He said he is not 100% sure if it's a state of play or a showcase. He's leaning towards state of play, but it is happening. I told you guys, I was like, there's no way they're going to go dead quiet during showcase season. It doesn't make any sense. They have at least done a state of play for years around this time of year. They have. It would be so bizarre to not. Hang on, I've just realized I probably need to schedule this. I voiced that opinion multiple times this morning, and I said I completely understand a showcase in September instead of the summer. I don't think that's bizarre to me. I don't think that's out of step or out of character to wait and do it later. I don't think so. I think it makes perfectly good sense. It also makes sense with the timing of Yote, and then again, you can focus on all the things for next year. That's what got us on the intergalactic debate, right? Is I was saying that. I was like, I think that makes perfectly good sense. What doesn't make sense is completely skipping the summer. That does not make sense, because the summer is your time to kind of flex your dominance in the market right now. You've got so many PlayStation 5s that you've sold. You have so many new consumers in your funnel of users now that have not been with you before. I don't know why you wouldn't keep your foot kind of on the gas pedal of saying, hey, there's a lot of great games coming this year. Like that blog they pushed out, all the great games in 2025, and how we observed that so many of the games were third party. I don't know why you wouldn't keep doing that. You want to keep your new audience members convinced that they made a good choice and that there's a bunch of good things coming to their console that they purchased. I don't know. That one was a weird one, and it sounds to me like Grub has heard exactly what I expected, which was, yes, state of play for the summer, showcase in September. That makes very good and logical sense to me from a marketing standpoint. Now, PlayStation's marketing has been anything but logical and predictable these past few years. It's been anything but logical and predictable. Can't tell what the frick they're going to do some of the times. I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe all this is just a testament of how hard game development is, says WGC. No, I don't think so. No, I think Expedition 33 proves that if you have the passion and you do the work, you can make an excellent game. And I think Revenge of the Savage Planet, they made choices that resulted in what we got. If they would have prioritized performance, if they would have prioritized 60 FPS, they could have achieved it. I believe that. I do. I don't think they made the right choices of priority and hierarchy. From the very beginning, I think from the very beginning of a game's development, I think that everybody should be saying 60 FPS is a priority. And if that's a priority, then that should be, if it's a priority in the market, then it should be a priority within your build when you start. Did Lona like Hellblade 2? No, I did not. That was probably the most disappointing game that I've ever played. I was so significantly looking forward to it. I love Hellblade 1 so much. It's like my all-time favorite game. And Hellblade 2 was a disappointing regression. It was a disappointing regression. The primary reason that people pushed back and disagreed with me was not because they genuinely thought it was this amazing game, this amazing step up from Hellblade 1. It was because they were doing like the Xbox tribalistic thing. I saw so many people who had no dog in the fight of the Xbox, PlayStation console war. I saw a ton of Hellblade fans saying, this is insanely disappointing. I saw a lot of Hellblade fans talking about it and talking about the combat being a huge step back and the immense focus on, just walking everywhere. Like it took forever to do anything. The puzzles weren't that great. The story wasn't that great. Why was it disappointing? Combat was probably the most regressive thing about it. I made an analogy yesterday. Imagine if I booted up Ghost of Yotei and there were no stances anymore. And all of her movements were, pre-recorded and captured animations so that I didn't feel like I was in control of the character. I would be extremely disappointed. I'd be like, you took an amazing combat system in Ghost of Tsushima and you regressed. Hellblade 1 combat is so significantly better. It's not even a contest. It's not even a contest. It's a huge regression. Combat alone, I actually think combat alone ruins Hellblade 2. If they would have left the combat basically the same and very, very similar, I think I would have said it's not as good as 1, but I would have enjoyed it a whole lot more. I'd be like, the puzzles were fine. The story was fine. It was a beautiful game. Melina Juergen's performance is captivating as always. She's an absolute dream. And if combat would have been the same, I would have been like, yeah, it's not that bad. I still would have been like, yeah, Hellblade 1 was better. The combat, I'm not kidding you. It's a torpedo into the side of the boat. It just ruins it. It makes it a terrible experience. They became enamored with the technology of motion capture, and that's what that game became about. It hijacked the entire creative process. Their entire creative process got hijacked by, well, motion capture. We can motion capture everything. And it's like, but did you think about if that would translate into good gameplay? Because it didn't. It just didn't. They spent all the money on the voice actor whispering. Well, no. I don't. I know you're joking around. Yeah, I mean, the crazy thing is, too, is it's got a decent score on Steam. So the people that actually got the game, they don't agree with me. They don't agree with me. The first game has a much better score on Steam. Not a much better. It has a better score on Steam. It has a 90%. It also has way more reviews. It has 64,000 reviews. Hellblade 2 only has 6,000 reviews, and it's been out for a year. So, it just didn't do nearly as well. It didn't get nearly the number of people to buy it as the first one. Yeah, it If they announce a new combat system update, would you try it again? I would try it on my PC. I would not buy it again. I love Ninja Theory. I love Melina Juergens. I really do. I have like a very strong attachment to them personally. Like, the first game means a lot to me. Like, it's very important to me. I played through it many times, and it always impacts me in a very deep and emotional way. So I love them, and I love her work. I think she's phenomenal. But I would not buy it again. I would just play it on my PC to test it and to see how it feels. If they completely overhauled the combat system, I would want truckloads of flowers from people that didn't agree with me. I'd be like, the developers agreeing with me. Like, if they actually do that, if they completely overhauled the combat system, I'd be like, all right, back the trucks up, give me my flowers. I was railing on that combat from the very beginning, and I got so much disagreement. You mean Melinda Juergens? Hideous Kojima. Who made that joke? Such a good joke. You want to spend 20 minutes climbing mud again? No. Again, I think they got so enamored with the tech, they lost themselves. I mean it. I mean that. They lost themselves. They got so enamored with the technology, they thought, oh, the water and the lighting and the lightning, yeah, let's make them climb this muddy slope for a really long time. I couldn't believe it. It was such a terrible choice. Like, artistically, developmentally, it was the dumbest thing. I'm like, what are you guys doing? You did not enjoy Hellblade 2? I loved it. Subjective, I guess. Did you play the first one? I don't know how anybody could play the first one and then play the second one and not feel just so much disappointment. It was just incredibly disappointing. The boss designs were cool. It was hard for me to praise anything about it other than her performance. I enjoyed myself. Only thing was 30 FPS. That disappointed me. You love that as well. Okay. Genuinely curious here. What are your thoughts on the combat systems between Hellblade 1 and 2? You're projecting a bit onto others. I understand your frustration. Do you understand what that means? How am I projecting on others when just voicing my own criticisms and disappointment? Who did I project onto? I am curious, though, Donkey Kong Death Metal. what did you think about the combat in Hellblade 1 versus the combat in Hellblade 2? Gray Zone. Yeah, that game, I'm not interested. It's not a PvP game. I enjoyed the change in the combat. I didn't prefer one over the other. Really? Back from taking a CDL permit test as Gangs. What did I miss in the last 2 hours? I freaking passed. Yo, congrats, Gangs. Let's get some congrats in chat for Gangs. That's a big deal, dude. I tried Hellblade 1. I got interested at the start, but how slow the story moved, I fell out and lost interest. Huh. I don't know if I've ever had anybody ever say that. It's important to recognize when you come in late. Like if I played Mario 64 now and said underwhelming, poor graphics, mech, hammer, 5 out of 10, I think you'd be right to criticize. Are you guys talking about like not judging old games within their context? People are saying that they enjoyed it. You're asking how people can enjoy it. Yeah, that's not projection. No, that's not projection. I'm genuinely curious how somebody could go from Hellblade 1 to Hellblade 2 and not be like, this is a huge step backwards. I'm not projecting at all. I'm genuinely curious, like, what in the world? It's so dramatically different. It's like playing a different game. Like, I'm not projecting at all. I am bewildered by it. To me, it's confusing. It's like when we look at a trailer and like with like Mind's Eye. With Mind's Eye, I said, I don't know how you guys aren't seeing this. Like, I don't know how you're not seeing that it looks bad, like, or that it looks kind of fake. And now we're hearing that it's in not great shape, and it's supposed to come out in like 18 days. I know where Lono's coming from. Yeah, I don't care at all that you enjoy it. I'm just curious, like, did you even sense how much it changed? Because it changed a lot. It really did. It's basically a cinematic series of prompts instead of like an actual interactive fight. It reminds me of some idiot YouTuber who played Yakuza Kiwami in 2023 and was complaining about next-gen stuff being missing. You know what would be really funny? Is to do a total meme channel and play old games and be like, this game sucks. Like, where's the ray tracing? Like, boot up Pitfall. you know, like boot up Pitfall. Like, what the frick is this crap, man? Where's the 60 FPS? Where's the ray tracing? This is garbage. Pitfall's coming to Xbox. Perfect time for it. Yeah. That's why I had Pitfall on the brain. They made that announcement yesterday. Yeah, Excite Bike. This is terrible. I thought it was nice looking and excellent voice acting, but it was very short. Linear combat was underwhelming. The story was average. So for me, knowing it's short and linear, coming in, it's 7 out of 10. Are you talking about Hellblade, Mash? What game are you talking about? 2D side scroller in 2025? I actually like 2D side scrollers. I think 2D side scrollers get a bad rap. I think people are acting like a 2D side scroller has to, they can't charge full price and they have to be this, that, and the third. And I'm like, what? Or they shouldn't charge full price because it's a 2D side scroller. I don't get that at all. Never will. "2D side scrollers can be amazing. Like Prince of Persia last year was awesome." Grub thinks possible state of play for June. Yes, if you guys are just tuning in and you're curious about the PlayStation Showcase news, do me a quick favor, hit the like button, and I'll give you a quick rundown. So according to an insider, excuse me, according to an insider who gets PlayStation events right, said they're not doing anything until September. And apparently it's going to be like a big event. And I think that's probably the showcase that we heard they were leaning towards doing. I said that made perfectly good sense to do it. You know, it's a month before Yote. They could also focus on everything coming out next year. I also said that it made no sense for them to do nothing in the summer, especially summer showcase week, you know, showcase season. PlayStation typically kicks off the week with a state of play. And I said that seemed really dumb. We're now hearing from Jeff Grubb that they are, in fact, doing a state of play in June. So they're not going to do the late May thing. Summer Game Fest, I believe, starts on the 6th, does it not? Yes. So I think there will be a state of play on the 5th. That would be my guess. If Grubb's got good intel, I think PlayStation does a state of play on the 5th. We'll hear about it probably next week. They'll give us like a 1-week announcement. They'll do it on the 5th. It'll kick off Summer Game Fest. PlayStation likes to go first. They've done that for years. I think since like 2019 or something. They like to go first. Whether it's a state of play or a showcase, they like to go first. So, that would be my prediction. Is that if Grubb's got good intel, that's when it lands. That's when it lands. That would be my guess. It'd be funny if they showed Marathon just to deliberately throw Bungie under the bus. I think Fair Games is done. I don't think it'll get a mention or a showing. I think it's going to get canceled. The director left after they had like a public test that didn't go well. I'm so shocked a competitive heist game didn't go well. Yeah, Marathon is toast. I think they'll focus on third party and then Lost Soul aside, Death Stranding 2 and Yote would be my guess. Yeah. If they are in fact doing a showcase in September, it wouldn't surprise me at all if Death Stranding 2 gets the bigger chunk of the state of play. Yote would then be a bigger focus in September. You predict nothing till September? I think Grubb's been very consistent, and him saying that every single time he said that there's a state of play coming, it's happened. Grubb hasn't missed he has not missed a target yet. When he says a state of play is coming, it happens. He's saying that Sony is doing a show in June. He doesn't know if it's state of play or showcase. I think it makes perfectly good sense. Think about it from a predictive standpoint. It makes no sense for Sony to go silent in the summer. It doesn't make any sense. Everybody's talking but you. Nintendo will do something, Ubisoft will do something, PC Game Show, Xbox is doing something. It doesn't make any sense. It would be so weird to be dead quiet. I don't think that would be a sensible choice. Now, PlayStation has been one of the most difficult companies to predict their behavior. It's been extremely hard to predict their behavior. But I still think that's a stupid decision to just be like, yeah, we're not going to show up at all in the summer. Like, what? Especially when Death Stranding 2 is literally launching in the summer, and then 2 months later is Lost Soul Aside, and then 2 months later is Yote. That's a great cadence. I don't know why you wouldn't want to highlight that. Yeah, the Xbox showcase is landing when it always does, like right in the middle of a Sunday. It'll be followed by the PC Game Show. We'll cover all of it. We'll cover Keeley's thing. We're always one of the official co-streams of Keeley's thing. We're always one of the official co-streamers of Future Game Show. So we always cover all of it. So you want to make sure you're subscribed or following all my channels. That way you can be there for them. All right, I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll be back, and then in about 30 minutes, we'll be checking out Tainted Grail. So don't go anywhere. Smash like if you're on YouTube. Make sure you're following or subbed on Twitch. And whoever hits it gets it. We're working on a stretch goal now where you guys will get to sample some more of my music on Friday night. You guys have already hit the main goals. So right now, a 20 bomb would totally steal the next batch of members that I owe you guys. All right? I'll be right back. I'm back, chat. Zyber gifted a member to Dave Langer. Thank you for doing that, Zyber. Twitch, you definitely lost the battle, but you can still get those gifteds if you're the one that hits the milestone. So thank you so much. So I've made my official prediction on Twitter. I think Sony does a state of play on the 5th. I think they do a showcase in September. Grub hasn't missed on these Sony events, so that's my guess. All right, let me see if there is a patch for Tainted Grail. There's a patch for Doom the Dark Ages. Have they said what it is? There's a Days Gone remaster patch. There's a Blueprints patch. And there's a Doom the Dark Ages patch. Have they said anything about what they're doing with Doom? I haven't had any major issues. What is this? Engage with your audience. New. Member-only live stream. Schedule your live to switch to members only. Oh, that's a new feature that I'm testing. I'm going to try that today with the green room. I'm kind of wondering if we could limit the number of times that we hit the feed with content. They're allowing us to do that. Now, I don't know what that does to the VOD. I don't know if the VOD switches to a members-only stream permanently. Is it only members-only for that section? That would be wonderful, because then it would be a publicly viewed video. You'd get to that point in the video, and you'd have to be a member to continue to watch. I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to promote conversion. Like, hey, we're going to keep streaming, we're going to keep talking, but you're not going to be able to see, and I click a button and we switch to members only, instead of being like, we're going to a new segment. No, that's not for Twitch. That's for YouTube. Twitch, I will be eventually able to do that, and I think I can do it midstream. I think we'll do that for Green Room on Twitch as well. Like, we'll basically just be streaming. I'll suddenly switch the stream to sub only, and then if you're not a sub, you get bopped out. You can't watch. Like, I think that's what YouTube is trying to do. YouTube's trying to promote the notion of, like, if you want to support the streamer and keep vibing with the content, you gotta sign up. You gotta become a member. I think it's easier for people to just nope out when you're like, we're going to a new segment and a new stream. We have really struggled to get conversion. Like, people just don't do paid for memberships on YouTube. They just don't. I've been doing this for years, and we're still in the mid 500s on, like, the number of people actually paying for their own membership. Like, it's just, people just don't do it. No, yeah, it's still a VOD on YouTube. That's what we refer to it as. Yeah. Weapon swap doesn't work as smoothly as it should. Game forgets previous weapon pretty consistently. Coming out of the map freezes movement. I've had some weird things happen with weapon swapping, Brett. Yeah. What are they saying about Tainted Grail in the reviews here? Did you pick up a new microSD express card for the Switch 2? I have not. While Tainted Grail borrows heavily from the Elder Scrolls series, comparisons are inevitable. Several of its gameplay systems are distinct excuse me, enough to set it apart from Bethesda's titles. Sure, it has some graphical issues, but that's fairly common in games of this kind. If we had to call it something, I would say spiritual successor with plenty of attitude. Let's check Tainted Grail Metacritic. Yo, Matt with 49 months. I'm back in a member light. Thank you so much. It's got 3 reviews on PC and 1 on PS5. Its PS5 is a 78. Its PC reviews are 85, 85, and to be determined. Let's see. Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon. I can't find it on OpenCritic. Yeah, it doesn't seem to have a landing page on OpenCritic. I know you're not covering it, but AAA Studios should take notes on what Splitgate is doing right now. Beta is looking super good. They've added so much for us, 15 maps and map building, 10 plus modes. I still think the biggest thing that they're going to struggle with is re-engagement. I just don't know how you're going to get people to keep coming back. I really, really don't. What game are you planning on playing Friday? Hilly's going to be gone, so I'm going to play Helldivers 2 with the community because I want to try out the new stuff. I want to try out the new maps and the new content and the new weapons and stuff. I haven't had a chance to play. I've been playing Doom. Hey, what's going on with Tainted Grail? Not available for purchase. It officially releases tomorrow. Yeah, their video settings screen is just, as soon as I got in here, I knew I was worried because it's set to 1080 and it's on quality mode. The graphics preset is quality. You can turn off or on dynamic resolution. Maybe I should try that with VSync off because they said turning off VSync helps, but like it was still really bad. It's going to be even worse with VSync turned off with a cap card. Why isn't it available for pre-order? I don't know. Has anyone been enjoying Doom? It feels like a big letdown from Eternal. I don't think it's better than Eternal. Oh yeah, it's terrible when you turn off the VSync. It's even worse through the capture card than it was on my television. Yeah, it's bad. Golly, it's bad. Okay. Detective Seeds is saying state of play targeting week before Death Stranding 2 releases. Take date with grain of salt as they can push live earlier if they want. Runtime's 40 minutes. That's not a bad... Okay, yeah, I mean, that would be very different than what I predicted, but they would be doing then a state of play instead, a Death Stranding state of play instead. I still think it's weird to sit out of Summer Game Fest. I still think that's a weird choice. But if they decided instead to let Kojima do something with Jeff on the kickoff night, and then they decide to do a state of play with Death Stranding at the end, I mean, maybe Jeff announces that. He announces the state of play when they announced, he does something with Kojima. He's like, and look forward to a deep dive into gameplay and blah, blah, blah when they do a state of play on such and such date. Eternal better than Dark Ages. Dark Ages better than 2016. I haven't played them recently. But I think I don't know if I'd be able to put Eternal above any of them. Warhammer Bolt Gun 2 has been announced for PS5, Xbox, Steam for 2026. Also, Warhammer Mechanicus 2, an update for Vermintide, and then something called Speed Freaks, which is out now. What is that? What is Warhammer Speed Freaks? It released today. It's an adrenaline-fueled combat racing game with Brutal in the Brutal universe. Yeah, it's basically like a PvP car game. It looks like it's on Steam only right now. Or is it on Xbox as well? AI says it's available. Yeah, they're saying it's on Xbox today, but AI is saying that. I'm not seeing it. It's definitely not on PlayStation. At least it doesn't look like it's on PlayStation. Yeah, there's a Bolt Gun 2 coming. That's next year. I can't find Speed Freaks on the consoles. It's just on PC. It's a Warhammer racing battle, like car battle game. AI can hallucinate. It's definitely not trustworthy on that kind of stuff. I've had it say that games are on platforms and stuff before, and it's like, no, it's not. So. Played at Nightmare and I found 2016 very fun and proper challenging, but once I found my groove, I was killing it. Nightmare difficulty is where it's at. Eternal gameplay just asked way too much of the average gamer. Either you locked in and went God mode or it frustrated you. I was super, super locked in and was having a great time with Eternal, and then the Marauder completely messed me up. Like, I couldn't get into a rhythm with the Marauder. So... Yeah, Seeds is saying that it's going to be before Death Stranding, which sounds to me, if Seeds is correct, it sounds to me like what they're trying to do is they are, I'm getting Raid Shadow Legends offers. We made it, boys. It's been a long road rebuilding. It's taken us a really long time. We got our Twitch channel back, but really, I mean, we made it. We're getting Raid Shadow Legends offers. We made it, boys. Stone Spire with the $2 says, Tainted Grail, let's go. Love this game. You're going to be a little disappointed in what I have to say. At one level, you won't be disappointed. Is Seed's word going against Grubbs? No. Grubbs said something's happening in June. He doesn't know State of Play or Showcase. He doesn't know date. Seeds is saying that he's hearing it's the week before Death Stranding 2. It's happening. Everybody get in here and try Raid Shadow Legends. That's right. I'm shocked Marathon hasn't been canceled yet. Yeah, I'm not really sure what they're going to do. You hated the Marauder at first. It wasn't even like I killed him. I remember the last time I was playing it. I was playing and I was going for 100% on the maps. I was crushing the demon gates or whatever they were called. I had just done one and like didn't even get hit. Like, I was moving and grooving. I was having a great time. I was crushing it. And then he showed up, threw off my rhythm. I was like, I don't like this. He showed up again, threw off my rhythm. He burned through all my stuff, and I wasn't even mad. I was just like, I don't like this. Like, I forget when that was. I think I was still on Twitch at the time. And people were like, you just have to do this and this and this and this. And I was like, it just killed the vibe for me. It really did. I still think the combat and the movement in Eternal is the best. I still think it's the best, even though I don't like the Marauder. I wonder if I went back now, if I would think differently now that I'm just accustomed to games like Sekiro and Returnal and games that are a little bit more like you've got to be very quick thinking and on the move. And not that Doom Eternal wasn't like that, but you got into a groove and it was just like you were untouchable. You know, I was doing those demon gates and they were a joke. I was like, this is a joke. You know? Weapon swapping, stunning him with one weapon and then hurting him with another. Eventually you worked grenades and flame belch in and he became fodder. Yeah, there were people that were like, you just have to do it in this way, in this order, and da-da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, I had a way of playing and I had a vibe of playing, and suddenly having a guy that had like a recipe for killing him, I just didn't like it. Oh yeah, Slayer Gates. That's what they were called, Slayer Gates. I just didn't like it. I was like, I don't like this. It doesn't, it felt very, it felt very much like a record scratch moment. And people, there are people who do not agree with me, right? They loved Marauder, and then there are people that hated him. Like, there were people that were totally on my side, and there were people that are not. Like, it's like, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of in between. I just like how active Eternal makes you. You need to actively choose weapons, when to flame, when to blood punch, when to chainsaw. I like the simplicity of TDA, but I miss... Oh, the Dark Ages, but I miss of some of Eternal's elements. Like, yeah, the Dark Ages, you can get in some really, really fun rhythms. Like, I have myself set up to where whenever I get the green parry, it supercharges the gun that shoots out the ball from the chain. And I did that to the guy with, like, the whip. It was like parry, bam, and I hit him with that thing fully charged. Parry, bam. And it felt really, really good. Like, getting into those rhythms with certain enemies is really, really fun. But it's just different. It's so different that I get why people aren't vibing with it. I don't vibe with the open areas. I got into a map last night that was not all open area, and I really liked it. Although it did feel like harder to see where I missed the secrets. I got all the gold, I got all the hearts, but I didn't get all of the secrets. And I looked at the map 8 times every time I would go to a new area, and I'm like, I have no idea where it would have been. I don't know what I missed. And I don't want to go, like, they have demotivated me from going back and finding the secrets, because after what happened on, like, the open world map, I was like, it's not fun. That, you know, clung, 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 like thundering around looking for secrets. It's not fun gameplay. So I'm like, yeah, I'm done going for 100%. So I'm just going to go to the next level. Will there be a PlayStation showcase? My current prediction, based off of what we've heard and what Jeff Grubb just said, I think they're going to do a state of play on the 5th to kick off Summer Game Fest, because they like to do that. I don't know if they're going to break habit there. They may only be breaking habit because Death Stranding 2 is releasing in June. Detective Seed says the event's right before Death Stranding 2. I've predicted, and I don't have inside information, I'm just going based off of what Grubb said and PlayStation's pattern. They'll do a state of play on Thursday, the 5th of June, to kick off Summer Game Fest. I think the PlayStation Showcase is in September. Another insider said PlayStation's not going to do anything until September. I think people are getting their wires crossed. I think the big event that we kept hearing about them planning, I think that's in September, because that's like right before Yote. And I think that's the plan. I could be 100% wrong. I have a terrible, and I mean, I have a terrible track record predicting what PlayStation will do, because they are extremely hard to predict. I've got like almost a perfect batting average predicting what Xbox will do, and it's easier because I just feel like it's a lot clearer and a lot more. They seem more transparent, not transparent in a good way. Like, they seem really see-through as a company. Like, it just was easy to see what Xbox was doing. PlayStation with marketing, I don't think I've ever gotten them right. I'm like, I don't know what the frick they're doing. I think they'll do this, and then they don't. I think they'll do this, and then they don't. I'm like, oh, I think Yote and Death Stranding and Lost Soul Aside will be the focus of the state of play in February. And they weren't there at all. And then they announced Saros from Housemarque. You know what I mean? My batting average predicting PlayStation stuff is terrible. I get it wrong most of the time. You know? I think it'd be smart to hold off till September since there's so much going on already in June. No, I think going silent in June is a mistake because everybody's going to talk. A summer Game Fest kickoff event, future games show, Xbox showcase, a direct, an Outer Worlds direct, a PC game show, a Ubisoft forward, and for PlayStation to just be like, yeah, we're not going to be there. I don't know. I think that's a mistake. I think they can still do a showcase. Oh, I forgot. You don't have. That would like burn too. I'd be like, oh, I'm so thirsty, and I'd like go to drink my water, and I'd be like, oh. Oh, good golly. Like an hour from now, I would just be laying on the desk. I would not be laughing. I'd be asleep. We know Death Stranding is going to be in Summer Game Fest. Yeah, I could see the Kojima wanting to do something with Jeff, and then Jeff, gets that nice treatment, but then Jeff could announce the state of play and be like, be sure to tune in for a more in-depth dive into Death Stranding 2 gameplay when they do a state of play on blah, blah, blah date or whatever. But I could also see them kicking off Summer Game Fest on the 5th. Hate to always come back to this, but Doom would be perfect for one of those DLC roguelike modes. Which one? The current one or all of them? I think any one of them could be good. Yeah. Yeah, especially with the Dark Ages and how the upgrades work. Yeah, that could be awesome. When does Death Stranding 2 drop again? It's like the end of June. Is it the 26th or something like that? Yeah, June 26th. How is Jeff going to top this entrance, though? I don't know. Kojima walking through that door. Did Doom sell well? It doesn't seem like it, no. It doesn't seem like it did as well as the others. Like, they're boasting about highest player count day one, but it hit Game Pass day and date, so... Did you guys see this? I tweeted about this. You guys remember that studio that made that horrible game, Quantum Error? And they were really toxic about the fact that I didn't do a review because their game was such garbage. I was like, I'm not going to review it. And they signal boosted like harassment, like, those scumbags on Twitter that lie about me and harass me every day. They retweeted that garbage, and then they were like, and then they blocked me. Did you see that they're trying to copyright claim a Dreamcast guy video about the game, about that game, and it's a 2-year-old video? They literally are trying to get his video taken down because they're getting ready to launch a new game. It's probably another pile of crap, and they don't want anybody to be able to go search their old game and find negative videos. Yeah. I told you at the time, I was like, these guys, you talk about being unprofessional. You talk about being unprofessional. I couldn't believe the way they handled that situation. Absolute losers. Absolute total losers. And their game sucked. It was absolutely terrible. They're saying he never got a review code. Oh, they've responded? Are you serious? So they've actually, now they're going to try and claim he didn't get a review code. Couldn't he disprove that? How did he get all the footage? Where are they saying this? Did they do it in a reply? I'm not seeing a tweet about it from them. People are getting corrupted saves now in the game. They said that a long time ago. Yeah, they're probably liars. That'd be my guess. No reason to trust them. No reason to trust them. All right, we are going to go over to, we got to switch directories. For Tainted Grail. You guys on YouTube, let's see here. I'm going to be playing Tainted Grail on the PS5 Pro and explaining to you it's not going to be a very long stream, and it'll all make sense in a moment. It is not going to be a very long stream. So... Okay. Let me send a tweet here. Wait, what was... Oh, shoot. Are people getting invites to a Call of Duty event? I just saw a screenshot and then I closed out and I can't get it back now. I expected a Call of Duty event soon. Because it's like, they haven't said anything about the game this year. All right, let me send an alert in the Discord. And then you guys on YouTube. Pump the volume, it's playing your jam. What song? Oh, Dying for a Phone. That's right. My daughter's song that she wrote. Okay. So guys, use that link in chat. Use that link in chat. Sorry, boys. All right, I'm going to keep the member count below us so you guys can still work on those milestones, both Twitch and YouTube. The YouTube, there's a link in chat. Please use that link. Even if you only come over to YouTube and watch for a little bit, it's super, super helpful when we get these kind of gameplay opportunities, okay? If you're watching on Twitch, you guys are the best. Okay. Thank you so much for checking out this video. This is going to be a shorter video of sort of my Tainted Grail: The Fall of Avalon gameplay impressions. I was given 7 days of early access. Thank you to them for not just sending a code, but also the collector's edition. The devs have been great. They've been awesome. But I'm going to explain why I did not record a bunch of footage and put together like a first impressions video or a review in progress. So if you're looking for Tainted Grail gameplay or a Tainted Grail review, this is going to be my best attempt to give you good information. This will be on the PS5 Pro. So again, if you're looking for Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon gameplay, or Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon review, this will be my attempt to do that. I'm going to end the previous stream and redirect folks over. We were doing a talk